Nuggets in the West? ESPN's Tim Legler.
Golden State and Sacramento are two teams that I could look at as challenging the Nuggets if they added a piece. And it's hard to say, like, specific names because a lot of times those are pipe dreams, and they're just not realistic.
Tim Legler on Fitz and Harry. NBA draft coverage starts at 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night on ESPN Radio. Our Adrian Wojnarowski reports Nuggets guard Bruce Brown is turning down his $6.8 million option for next season. Instead, he'll become a free agent. Brown averaged 12 points and 4 boards a game during Denver's run to the title. Baseball finals today. The Rays beat the Orioles 7-2. Randy Arozarena drives in 2, including a solo home run.
It's Wrangler season out there. Open roads, endless horizons. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles, made for your next adventure. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, 2 men, 1 journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Green, the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. The Sportsocracy. We are heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app and always seen live in the Ingles studio on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel. Join us in the chat, your thoughts on the day. That's your best way to get into immediate touch with us here on the program. Myself, Jeremy Green, and of course, intern Jake.
The intern Jake.
The intern Jake.
Not just a. He is the Ohio State University of interns.
Says on my Twitter.
So says Twitter.
Yeah.
Right. So welcome in to the eve of the NBA draft.
This is, of all eves, this is the worst eve. In the NFL draft eve, win. Thanksgiving Eve, good. Christmas Eve, awesome.
Right.
New Year's Eve, awesomer.
NBA draft eve.
But we're going to make a whole mess of jokes. And if you don't know who any of these guys are, first of all, you're not alone, because not many people do. I've been asked some really stupid NBA draft questions over the last few days. Hey, are Amon and Oscar Thompson brothers?
Yep. Yes, they are.
Twins. Identical twins, actually. So, yeah. Tell me you don't know who that kid is without telling me you don't know who that kid is.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fine. That's what we're here for.
We got draft storylines on the program this afternoon. Also, the 4 o'clock hour, it's going to be live mock draft time.
This will basically be, outside of some NBA free agent stories, the last time the NBA is mentioned on this show until roughly Christmas. And even then, it's going to be sparse at best.
It's going to be fun, though. It's going to be a 3-man draft. We're going to split this up as I'll have the first overall pick in the NBA draft, and then I'll take every third selection. And then Jake will have number 2, correct?
Yeah.
And then he'll have every third selection after that. And then Jeremy will have number 3, and he'll have every third selection after that. And we're just going to rotate back and forth, see what kind of craziness that we come up with for tomorrow night's NBA draft. We were doing this because we will not have a draft preview show for you tomorrow afternoon. Programming note, we will not be here. It will be Braves baseball tomorrow afternoon, so no Sportsocracy. So we're getting you ready for the NBA draft 1 day ahead of time. And, you know, there's a lot of intrigue with the NBA draft.
Well,
Will the
Mitch,
Charlotte Hornets trade the number 2 pick?
I do love that Mitch Kupchak felt the urge to come out today and say, we're down to 2. No kidding.
Right.
Or we could trade it. That's kind of like saying, I could go home or I could go anywhere else. Really narrowing it down.
Right. It's obvious that you're going between 2 guys because Victor is gone, and the only other 2 in contention for the number 2 pick are Scoot Henderson, who plays the same position LaMelo Ball does, and then you got Brandon Miller, who is the obvious choice if you're going to hold on to the number 2 pick, in my opinion.
And that's who it will be.
Now,
it's going to be Brandon Miller. The betting markets, the Woj bomb just came out that's who they're targeting. And yes, I know he had the top 3 wrong last year, and that's what skewed people to Jabari Smith instead of Paolo Banchero. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
That at least made some form of sense. Going any other direction here does not really make sense.
No, you're not going to go off the board if you're the Charlotte Hornets. There's no reason to. But is there reason to trade the pick?
Well, you're not gonna like my answer, but if you could get Zion Williamson, then yeah, there's a reason. If you could get a legit superstar, there's a reason. Do I think that's gonna happen? No.
See,
I don't.
I'm all for it. If you can get a legit superstar.
Zion Williamson's a legit superstar. Well, here's the thing, and I want to know if this changes. So I did another show last night, late last night, and I brought up something that I don't know that I've said this to Tank yet. Does it change anything for you that he has weight escalators in his contract?
What do you mean?
So Zion's rookie deal ended this year.
Okay.
There was nothing they could do about that. NBA rookie deals are fully guaranteed. Well, when they signed him to the extension, they put some weight conditions in it.
Okay.
He has to hit certain weights or guaranteed money starts coming away.
Okay, that's good. At least that's one smart thing that
changes for me. And I don't know if I just assumed you knew that or if I thought I had said it. But that's part of where I'm at. Now his money is physically tied to you don't just get to be old Chunky Zion anymore.
That makes me like it a little more. I want to know how aggressive those are. I would really love to know. I mean, is there a way that we also build in your availability factor? If you don't play 48% of the games in a year, can I drop your salary for the next year or something to that effect?
I don't know the intricacies of that. I know that if he the way it's set up now, I think he has to weigh in every 6 weeks. If he misses a weight, it comes all the way down to every 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then it becomes a huge pain. And there are void years, and it's really complex.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever Zion goes, you're going to get the best version of him. And for me, I don't think he's a New Orleans Pelican. I'm not sure he's a Pelican 48 hours from now.
He may not be. I hope he's not a Charlotte Hornet. I really don't.
Which is mind-boggling.
I don't want the headache.
I'd rather have because Brandon Miller's not bringing any form of headache.
Oh, stop that. When I brought that up, you were the one defending Brandon Miller. Oh, this was just a kid who's got a gun. He had nothing to do with it, blah, blah, blah. So don't start.
No, that's my opinion.
Don't start throwing the red flag thing.
No, that's my opinion. I'm one person.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think in Charlotte, North Carolina, that's going to come up? Here's the thing. I can't control what everybody thinks.
No,
if you don't think that having your best player miss an entire year for a domestic violence problem, then you bring in a guy that just took a gun to a murder scene. If you think that's not coming up and that's not going to be a headache, I got a bridge to sell you.
Oh, of course it's going to come up. But what fight would I rather fight? Would I rather have whatever rumors and innuendo are going to be thrown out about Brandon Miller, a guy who's actually going to play, or do I need the Zion circus for a guy who never plays? I'm always going to be concerned about his weight, and then of course there's the off the field stuff now.
Well, I mean, based on Zion's current extracurriculars, I feel like he's got to be in pretty good shape.
Nah, you don't know. Oh,
you ever heard that story about the carpenter's house is the last one to get worked on? I was just saying. You deduce where I'm headed with that.
Maybe so. Maybe so. I'm just saying. Doesn't necessarily mean anything.
No, it doesn't hurt. It's a guy.
I don't know. I mean, never mind. This could go down a path that we
got a little pudgy. It sounds like he's been getting the cardio in at every impasse.
And I understand that. That doesn't translate to anything on the basketball floor for me. And you know what? Honestly, that puts more stress on your joints, right? And I don't need that.
I can say. Did for me. Boom! I told you I chose violence today. Let's go.
I still don't want any part of it. I get that it would sell tickets and it would, they'd be a story and all of that, but a story for all the wrong reasons because you're still not going to be a contender if you make that move.
All right, so let me ask you this. With the draft, you and I think all three of us are in agreement that we're starting Victor Wembanyama, we're starting Brandon Miller at 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Draft starts at 3.
Yes.
What is the number one thing you want to have happen over the course of tomorrow night? Because mine is undeniable.
Damian Lillard to be traded.
And I'm the exact opposite.
Really?
Yeah.
I want Portland to go get him. And this is probably the last of a dying breed of superstar that's going to play their entire career somewhere, and he wants to. Now, does it feel like they're trending towards a breakup? Yes, because it's really hard for Portland, much like Charlotte, to get high-end players to come play with him.
Mm-hmm.
Damian Lillard's 32 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that you're going to get for him what you think. I don't. We keep talking about Miami. That's where he wants to go. All right, so you're telling me you're going to build a roster around Anthony Simons, who you already have, Shaedon Sharpe, who you drafted last year that you're very high on, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson. Oh, my God. You'd be the worst defensive team in a YMCA league.
And that's okay.
And then I look at that roster in Miami and go, is that going to win you a title? Is Damian Lillard going to play in games that we really care about? Because it's him, Bam Adebayo, and Jimmy Butler.
I would think
I
so.
don't know that I agree with you.
Really?
I don't know that I agree with you. I don't know that it changes anything. I get another guard that can't defend anybody. Damian Lillard is going to have statues built out in front of the arena in Portland for him, and I want it to stay that way. Just go get him a guy.
No,
you
but
don't
it's not
want
gonna
Scoot
matter.
Henderson, and I know it.
But that's the thing. You're not going to be a contender.
In Portland?
In Portland. I don't think
they got Zion,
if you went and got Zion Williamson, which I think that is on the table because they're very high on Scoot Henderson. If you went and got Zion, you parlayed Anthony Simons into something, I fully believe you could do it with San Antonio because they have the cap space to absorb it outright. Mm-hmm. And you throw a couple other pieces in there. In the West, you're telling me that wouldn't contend with a year of Damian Lillard healthy?
so. You can be the 7 seed. At
I don't
best?
know. Healthy Zion Williamson, I'm not sure he wouldn't be better than that.
That's a
Shaedon
hell of
Sharpe's a
question
really
mark.
good player.
That's a hell of a question mark.
I don't disagree. It's a question mark going to Miami, too.
Mm-hmm.
Are you more talented than Boston? No. But we beat them last year. Okay. And
I wanna
the New
add
England Patriots beat the Jets twice last year. You betting on that twice again this year?
I want to add some offensive firepower to this team that can already be dangerous defensively. Okay, so I'm trading Damian Lillard, or I'm trading Hero and Duncan Robinson. Well, they don't play defense either, so
No, but
to
now
me
you're
it's a
taking,
wash.
But now you're taking away 2 more shooters for a 33-year-old player, and I don't think it changes that much, and it definitely changes his legacy.
Mm-hmm.
I could argue Damian Lillard's the last shot we really have of a guy being career-defined attached to a team. Name me another one.
But what does that mean? In the end, what does that really?
What is
what
it?
difference does it really make?
It changes the legacy for me.
See, to me, it doesn't. At some point, you've given enough to one franchise. And if they can't get it done,
I'm not saying I don't understand why Dame would want to move on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying I don't want it to happen.
And you're completely entitled to your opinion. I'm just stating that I don't care. At this point, he's going to be. I'll put this in baseball terms. Okay, think about a guy like Wade Boggs. I'm a Red Sox fan. Wade Boggs spent most of his career, minus a few years with the Yankees where he won a World Series, and then the first few years with the Tampa Bay Rays. Other than that, he was a multi-time All-Star batting champion with the Boston Red Sox. When he retired, everybody had this, what's he going to do? Is he going to go in as a Yankee? Is he going to go in as a Devil Ray? No, everyone knows he was a Boston Red Sox for longer, and he is.
Well, I mean, and now you're talking to somebody biased because I was about 8 years old when he retired.
Right.
I don't remember him as a Red Sox. I don't. I remember him as a Yankee predominantly because that's where he won.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess that's what I'm saying, is that this is the best player in the history of Portland's franchise, and I'm not sure it's all that debatable. I don't want you to come up. The only other person you
Terry
can debate
Porter
with me
would
is
be
Brandon Roy.
Terry Porter would be a candidate for that.
Stop.
What?
Terry Porter against Damian Lillard. That's
Clyde
like
Drexler.
saying okay, Clyde.
Like Clyde.
All right, Clyde.
Clyde Drexler
Clyde's
was pretty good.
Clyde's a lot better than Terry Porter. All right, you were on the precipice of a really weak argument, and then you went, "Hey, you forgot this one,"
right?
And you have a point there. You do indeed have a point there.
But he's up there. He is up there on the all-time list. I get it. To me, once you've given your all to a franchise, go elsewhere, my friend. Go to find a place where you can possibly contend for a title, because it's not going to happen in Portland. They've been trying to build around Damian Lillard for, what'd you say, 12 years or however long he's been there. And it hasn't worked. You got into the playoffs a couple of times. You were a 6 seed. That was all fun and games. And at one point, they were pretty good, right? Didn't they? Weren't they like second or third in the league at one point?
I remember
in the West?
They knocked out.
They were like the second or third best team in the league when they had C.J. McCollum and things were working. Well, you haven't really sniffed that success in years.
Well, I mean, look, outside of C.J. McCollum, who's the best player he's ever played with? Yusuf Nurkic. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. Is if you can go get a guy, and look, I'll be honest with you, I don't believe in Scoot Henderson at all. I don't. To me, he reminds me of. I'm not sure there's a huge difference between him and Anthony Simons. He is a ball dominant guard. And look, I salute his, I should go number one. No, you shouldn't. And anybody that did it would be fired 3 seconds after it came out of their mouth. I just don't think it changes anything. So for me, that turns into a full rebuild with absolutely no path. This is what I was telling you about Charlotte. There are about 10 markets in the NBA that when you have a star, you keep a star. And I don't care if you keep them until you run them into the ground. If it takes going to do something stupid to make them happy, then that's what you do. Because it's hard to get superstars to wind up in cities like this. And I don't see it in Scoot. If New Orleans does, great. You give me a tremendous offer, I'll come off 3, and I'll build this team around Damian Lillard. And I think Portland would be happier that way.
Okay. Go ahead. Do it. Portland, please, by all means. Get this damn deal done before Mitch Kupchak has the opportunity to saddle me with Zion Williamson.
Your Zion hatred is really infuriating to me.
And I don't understand why. I don't understand why you look at that guy and go, yeah, that's a good bet.
Well, I mean, as the same guy that got burned by Joel Embiid, I understand where you're at.
Right.
This is kind of like the kid that touches the hot stove eye of, okay, when you do this again, don't be shocked when I laugh at you. And that's kind of where I'm starting to, because you're not hedging your bets at all. You're just going straight. Shouldn't be in the league. He should be selling tile at the Home Depot.
No. Let him be somebody else's problem. I don't want it.
And that's where we're different. I do.
Yeah.
There's not many guys in this league that sell tickets. Zion Williamson sells tickets.
Absolutely.
And the NBA is a league where that matters. It just does.
Yeah, and he would sell tickets in Charlotte. I understand. But I can't be convinced that he's not playing for New Orleans.
Who's not all that great.
I was going to say, what makes you think he would give forth the effort to play for a Charlotte team that is not
2 words
competing?
LaMelo Ball.
Maybe.
End of message, repeat the line.
And we have another season where LaMelo Ball disappears and gets hurt. Then what?
Well, I mean, injuries are a risk for anybody.
Sure.
But, I mean, if you're telling me I'm Zion Williamson and I need to rehab my image and I need somebody that's going to make me look possibly even better than I am, I could do drastically worse than LaMelo Ball.
There is no
doubt. And I would be feeling the same way as LaMelo, going, okay, nobody's ever bypassed that rookie extension because you being the team that drafted me can just give exponentially more money than anybody else can. You could do worse to make me feel hunky-dunky about Charlotte than bringing me that guy that took over the ACC for a year. It's a lot better than Gordon Hayward and Miles Bridges and Terry Rozier and P.J. Washington. Another guy that got into trouble with a... Never mind. No good can come from that. I'm drawing a parallel between P.J. Washington and Zion Williamson.
Everybody's got skeletons in their closet.
Well, the only difference is that Zion can score on the floor, too, which P.J. struggles with.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
Ingles Bakery is actually a bakery. As in, we bake things, really delicious things. Things like crusty breads just waiting for that scrumptious strawberry jam. Apple fritters to pair perfectly with that morning cup of coffee. cakes for any occasion, customized to your precise standards. And did we mention the cookies? It's all in the bag. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zack with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Have your outdoors and running water too with Luxury Lou, the tasteful solution to portable bathroom rentals. Family-owned and local, Luxury Lou Rental provides modern bathrooms on the go with running water, AC and heating, flushable toilets, and elegant designs. Luxury Lou's are perfect for weddings, corporate events, remodels, and more. Don't leave your well-dressed guests to use a dirty porta-potty John.
Ew.
Turn to Asheville natives. Luxury Lou. Visit LuxuryLousRental.com.
The year is almost half over, and you are still dealing with that knee or hip pain. Enough is enough. Pills are not the answer. Surgery is not the answer. You need to call QC Kinetics today. The advanced regenerative medicine solutions at QC Kinetics can give you a life without chronic joint pain. You can do all those summer activities you used to enjoy. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in taking healing properties from your own body and applying them right into your achy joint, so your joint tissue can be repaired and restored naturally. This treatment is truly revolutionary. Patients across America are having life-changing results, and there's no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. If you have pain in your knees, back, shoulders, hips, you need to stop what you are doing and call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can give you your life back. Call 828-333-9517 in Asheville and in Greenville. That's 828-333-9517.
What's up? It's a Target Trend Alert. New swim has just arrived and it's sunny weather approved.
If you're into bikinis or one pieces, high waists or cutouts, they're the perfect combo of trendy, flattering, and affordable.
That's right. And there are so many cool styles with gorgeous details. These suits have macrame, crochet, wood beads, pretty shells, and more. Totally a luxe for less vibe.
Yeah, so dive in and shop this Target trend without the spend.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. Draft night trades could come in bunches.
Well, we've already had one. Your 2023 NBA champion Denver Nuggets.
Okay.
They're bringing it in, man. We're bringing in another first-round guy. It's going to be another star. It's Christian Brown all over again. Let's go.
Another first-round guy?
Yeah, I trade with the Indiana Pacers. They got 29-31. Gave up their pick next year, which is the worst of the 43 that the Oklahoma City Thunder have, and 40 tomorrow night. And watch, one of those guys will end up being a rotation player because Denver drafts real good.
After the greatest draft pick of all time, Nikola Jokic.
No doubt.
I mean, you drafted an NBA champion, two-time MVP at 50 overall.
41, but you're close.
Or 40 overall.
Yeah, during a Taco Bell commercial. And now he just rides his horses and wins NBA titles and NBA MVPs. Greatest center of all time. Oh, yeah, that's next. You want to know where Jeremy goes from your 2023 NBA champion Denver Nuggets? Your greatest center of all time, Nikola Jokic.
Who else is looking to make a move?
I have been listening to a lot of things today. DeAndre Ayton. Phoenix is basically calling anybody that will accept their phone calls.
Yes.
And the bad thing is I feel like every team sees their calling and goes, I wonder what they could want. Well, they have 3 superstars. They have a 4th guy that's paid like a superstar. Their next draft pick is in the 5th grade right now. So I wonder what they could possibly be calling us. I bet you they're trying to send us DeAndre Ayton. Send him to voicemail. I'm good. I don't care.
Nobody wants DeAndre Ayton.
Why would you?
The old school center who doesn't fit in today's NBA. To me, that was the number one knock I had on him when he was coming out. He was the most dominant player in college basketball, so it made perfect sense to me that he would go number 1 overall.
I don't necessarily look for – these drafts are fun because one of 2 things happens. Either teams behind the scenes are falling in love with guys and telling nobody anything, or there is so little consensus that if you will trade me anything that I know what it is for my draft pick, I'll give it up.
Mm-hmm.
Kristaps Porzingis, don't be shocked because his deadline to accept the player option is today. I have not heard if he does. I can't imagine that he won't because there's one team with cap space, and they're not signing him.
Mm-hmm.
So I would look for him to probably kick that option back in. But he's a player that if Washington's tearing it down to the studs, he is very, very valuable.
Right.
He had a great year in large part without Bradley Beal last year. And Dallas is doing everything in their power to find somebody that makes Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic work.
I was going to say,
unless you find the genie from Aladdin, I think you're going to struggle to do that. But who knows?
Well, with their top 10 pick, after they put their thumb on the scale and sat out the end of the season there, they got their top 10
but do you at
pick.
least see why they did that?
Of course, I understand why they did it. I defended it at the time.
I wasn't really talking about you. I was talking about more about the metaphorical you.
I mean, I think it's you have to be a moron or lying to yourself if you don't understand why they did it.
Oh yeah, because they were going to go into the play-in tournament and just be absolute cud
and lose
for the Los Angeles Lakers or whoever else they played.
Mm-hmm. And lose their draft pick.
And now you have 10, which at least makes you somewhat malleable because you know you have boo-boo kittied with Kyrie Irving.
And apparently Dallas has been on the horn with Atlanta.
Yeah, they've talked about Atlanta would get 10 and Maxi Kleber, and Dallas would get 15 and John Collins.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta will basically give you John Collins for anything. And they've been there for 3 years, and nobody cares. Which is weird. I mean, he's a good player. I don't think he's special.
I was going to say, but where does he fit?
He's power forward. He's a slight stretch power forward. It's not a great three-point shooter. He's a really good dunker. But that's not super valuable. I mean, I've seen a lot of people gnashing their teeth on social medias about, well, you'd get back Maxi Kleber. Yeah. And you get a veteran presence on that Hawks team.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know that that's really what they care about. They more care about getting out from that contract with John Collins. That's one of the things that's just different about building an NBA team. It's all about the financials. And every person that I talk to around the NBA, they cannot stop harping to me about the tax rules. That's why Jordan Poole has to go. He is being traded somewhere, and Golden State does not really care what they're getting back. Do you know how much their payroll would be if they just brought Draymond Green back at what he made before? Do you know what their payroll would be next year?
$183 million.
$500 million.
Holy cow.
With the taxpayer credit, they'd be on the hook for $500 million.
For 1 year?
Yes.
Jeez.
Because they get into $5 on every dollar on the highest side of the tax apron, and they're not paying it.
Wow.
Because Jordan Poole was a disaster last year, in large part. So don't be shocked if you see some deals tomorrow night that you look at and go, I thought he was good. And look, we know that in large part most of you aren't diehard, dead-in-the-wool NBA fans. You're hearing names that you know. It's the reason we're having an NBA draft spectacular. I haven't been able to say that in a while.
Mm-hmm.
It felt good. It just really made me feel good about having one more day where we had to talk about the NBA. Sorry.
Right.
We got some NFL hidden in here, though, too.
We do.
That's right. We've got off-season files going to begin. If you are fans of the Sportsocracy YouTube channel, you know that every off-season we always did our recaps, a special little vignette videos. We're just going to include it into the radio show here throughout the rest of the off-season. So today we've got the Atlanta Falcons on tap, full recap of their off-season and what has changed for them, and we'll do the same thing with the Buffalo Bills later on in the program.
And if you've never heard or seen one of these before, basically what we do, talk about the big additions of the offseason. Is there any hole on the roster that you still feel like you need filled? Are there any position battles that you should be looking at in camp? It's basically your camp preview, because these will end like 3 days before training camp starts. Not just a hat rack.
We've got those on the way for you, as well as next hour, top of the 4 o'clock hour, we're going to do the NBA mock draft. All three of us will be picking at different stations in the NBA draft, trading off picks to give you the look on how things could shake out tomorrow night in the draft. And then in the daily draft today, top of the 5 o'clock hour, we'll be drafting our all-time draft classes, which is like actual classes, right? So it's like I get to select X year of all of the draft picks.
That is correct.
Okay. All right, just wanted to make sure, because it was unclear. I was unclear on the rules yesterday.
I just want it stated from intern Jake that I was not unclear about the rules.
Yeah, of course not.
We just played that fun game. We just played that. No. I'm not saying I didn't understand it. Of course I understood it. I made up the game. You didn't understand it because you did that thing that we both do where the other one talks and you start playing show tunes in your head. That's not my fault. I can only say it, but so clearly. So, yes, you get each draft class.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Flood watch through tomorrow afternoon. We are tracking the rains on weather radar, covering up the mountains of western North Carolina, East Tennessee, the drifting to the west. And it looks like our unusual early summer weather patterns continue for the rest of the work week. Brighter weather returns to Asheville this weekend. 59 degrees with rain showers and a flood watch tonight. Rain showers tomorrow, heavy downpours possible, high 70. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Blue Ridge Health. At Blue Ridge Health, everyone deserves access to top-notch, compassionate health care, no matter their insurance or income status. Keep your family healthy with updated immunizations for COVID-19, flu, chickenpox, and shingles. Health care for all people, including you. Learn more at brchs.com. Second half of the year looking busier than the first? Hire with Indeed. Their powerful platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates in one place. Sponsor a job and immediately get a short list of quality candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means... Wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait! Unlimited first-year cash back match, only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to espnavl.com.
What's up? It's a Target trend alert. New swim has just arrived and it's sunny weather approved.
If you're into bikinis or one pieces, high waists or cutouts, they're the perfect combo of trendy, flattering, and affordable.
That's right. And there are so many cool styles with gorgeous details. These suits have macrame, crochet, wood beads, pretty shells, and more. Totally a luxe for less vibe.
Yeah, so dive in and shop this Target trend without the spend.
Are you hungry for the inside scoop of women's soccer? I'm Sam Mewis.
And I'm Lynn Williams.
And we're professional soccer players, best friends, and the hosts of Snacks, the only women's soccer podcast hosted by active players that gets into the most recent news, gossip, and fun of the NWSL, the women's national team, and the delightful, delicious world of snacks.
It's a weekly show that features great guests from the world of women's soccer, recaps and previews of the biggest matches, and the two of us hanging out with you.
You can listen to Snacks on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
You might not know this, but the Ingalls Bakery is actually a bakery. As in, we bake things. Really delicious things. Things like crusty breads just waiting for that scrumptious strawberry jam. apple fritters to pair perfectly with that morning cup of coffee, cakes for any occasion, customized to your precise standards. And did we mention the cookies? It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Yeah, well, Jeremy, he no longer has to say my 2023 NBA champion Denver Nuggets. It's now
your 2023 NBA champion Denver Nuggets. Breathe it in, man. Breathe it in. Doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel good to be a part of something, part of a community. Michael Malone is our that's our guy.
Of course he's your guy. There were a lot of questions about Michael Malone, whether or not he was a good coach or whether or not he just had too much talent. He wasn't ready to win the big one, blah, 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 blah. Of course, all of those questions now answered as he is an NBA champion coach. And he celebrated in what I only feel like should be matched by one and only Flostradamus Jeremy Green. I believe you and Michael Malone should have matching tattoos now because he celebrated the 2023 NBA championship by getting himself inked. And he got Maxie the Miner, the old school Denver Nuggets ABA logo, the miner with the big red beard and the pickaxe and the shovel in his hands, tattooed on his arm. And I think you need to do it as well.
If there is a tattoo artist in the Asheville area that will do that for me, I will totally do it.
Challenge accepted.
I'll totally do it. 100% do it. We'll promote you on the show. Shoot me an email.
Not a bad trade.
There you go. Jeremy at thesportsocracy.com.
I will totally get it. And I won't do it like, and I love Michael Malone. We all know that. Don't call him Mike. He's very touchy about that. But he got it as a guy that doesn't have a lot of tattoos. He got it as just the one on his arm. So it looks really lonely there by itself. So I would probably, I would go in a different spot. Plus, I already have something.
You mean
there,
it looks really lonely?
Well, because there's no other tattoos there. So you got this one little picture of Mickey the Miner. And it's like, he got that tattoo.
So what did you want him to do? Like have a tribal imprint around it or something?
I'm not saying he's got to get to the level I'm at. I'm just saying let's go bigger, Mike. Let's go big.
He wanted the entire Denver, the Colorado Rockies skyline behind it, and no, it's fine.
Oh yeah, but I would totally get the Mickey the Miner, the old school ABO Denver Nuggets logo.
Maxie.
Hold it. Is it Maxie? I thought it was Mickey for some reason. And I would actually go one step further. I might even put him on a horse just to symbolize our MVP, Nikola Jokic.
Although he did have the pickaxe that Maxie carries replaced with the Larry O'Brien trophy, which sets off the tattoo.
Oh, no doubt.
In my opinion.
Well, he's got one in the other hand.
He's got a ball in the other hand. He's got the ABA ball in one hand and then the trophy
I'm not
in the
looking
other.
at the picture. I thought he took the one out that had the ball in the hand.
No.
So he took out
He took out the pickaxe and replaced it with the Larry O'Brien.
Yeah, I'm fine. I would you find me a tattoo artist that will do that. I will do it. Frankly, we're off tomorrow. I'd do it tomorrow.
Let's go.
I'd do it tomorrow, and there is zero kidding in me at all. Speaking of zero kidding, a guy we've talked about a lot on this show, Iowa State football coach Matt Campbell. There is a surging belief. He's interviewed for NFL jobs. He was a candidate at one point at Michigan if Jim Harbaugh was going to leave. This guy's been really popular in college football circles. I've never fully understood why. Do you realize he's never won more than 9 games? Ever. Not in any season he's been at Iowa State. Never finished better than 9-3. Only did that once and has been 8-5 twice. Those are his 3 best years, and I'm supposed to believe this guy's a great coach. But that's not why I'm telling the story. There are some watchdog groups that basically peruse college coaching contracts to find clauses that would maybe ruffle feathers, because college coaching contracts are public record because these are public institutions. Well, Matt Campbell makes roughly $4 million a year in base salary and a contract that runs through 2028. But that little watchdog group found a clause that's a little strange to me. If they make it in any way harder to get into Iowa State, he can leave for nothing. Literally just walk out the door that day. And it reads, the parties acknowledge that Campbell was recruited as head football coach with the understanding that the university does not intend to increase its academic admissibility and or eligibility standards beyond the academic admissibility and eligibility standards for schools competing in NCAA Division I football. Do you know what those requirements are?
Was it like a 2.0 GPA or something?
You're close. It's 2.3.
Yeah.
And you had to complete 16 NCAA-approved core course credits in English, math, and science.
Okay.
There is no SAT requirement. There is no ACT requirement.
Really?
No. They took that away a few years ago. So now all you had to do was the barest of bare minimums. And Matt Campbell somehow came to a meeting table and said, you make it to where I can't get anybody in with a pulse, and I'm out of here. Because Ames, Iowa sucks.
Exactly.
And I hate it here. It's miles of cornfields and whatever they have in Iowa. What do they have in Iowa?
We have great movieplexes.
What is Iowa known for?
Jake
Iowa.
doesn't even know what a movieplex is.
Frankly, I'm not sure that I do either. I think it's a place where you'll watch a movie, but I'm not sure.
It's a movie theater.
Okay.
Okay, you just said it like you were 90. So
movieplex?
Yeah, that's what they used to call
Take
it when they
your
first
best
came out, and you
way.
had like the 16 theater megaplex.
Oh yeah, you can take your best girl and get a ice cream to the ice cream social for a I just find it really funny that Matt Campbell went, you know what? I like it here at Iowa State, but I don't like it enough that it ain't going to get any harder to win here.
No. I can't blame him one bit for that. You got to give me something that I can use to get players here. If I can get them when they're just barely eligible, then that's what we have to do.
I wish he would use that as his new recruiting tool. Iowa State, home of the dum-dum. Do you run a 4.3? Are you far away from that with a GPA? Do I have the school for you?
But really, isn't that all college football at some point?
Well, not all. No.
I mean, other than like Notre Dame and Stanford and
Northwestern.
Yeah,
all the schools that are awful.
Exactly.
Yeah, but North Carolina had basketball players taking college classes that didn't even exist.
What are you?
They existed.
They were.
Oh, yeah,
they
existed.
were there.
There was no professor.
Okay,
It still existed.
It was a group.
Was
study.
it a course? Was it a course that I could sign up for?
It was a group study. Okay, it was. We were expanding our minds with groupthink.
Stop bringing facts to this argument, Jay.
Yeah.
It is the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. Hey, tomorrow, Ingles Supermarkets teaming up with Mayfield in downtown Asheville, Pack Square Park, from 11 o'clock until 3 p.m. tomorrow at Pack Square Park. They're giving away Mayfield ice cream, and it's all for a good cause. So Mayfield, Moose Tracks and Mayfield are coming in with Ingles Supermarkets, and they are setting up the free giveaway. They're just going to be handing out scoops of ice cream, one to every person that shows up. And for every scoop that they serve, they'll be giving $1 to Manna Food Bank. That's a hell of a deal. You don't have to do anything but go downtown and get your free ice cream. So tomorrow, 11 o'clock to 3 p.m., Ingles Supermarkets, Mayfield Ice Cream, they are going to be Pack Square Park. Go get your free ice cream and, support Manna Food Bank. We are big supporters of Manna Food Bank.
Bingo.
It's time for the off-season files here in the Sportsocracy. Atlanta Falcons, one of the teams that I feel like, Jeremy, you've started to seem like you're drinking some Kool-Aid with the Atlanta Falcons.
It's not that I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. It's just look how many guys they've brought in.
And I
mean,
understand.
This roster looks a lot different now than it looked a year ago.
It does.
Really good.
They have brought in several key defensive players. I just wonder what your offense is going to look like. The defense is going to be good. You added Jesse Bates. You added
David
a couple
Onyemata.
of, Caden Ellis.
Campbell.
Caden Ellis is one of those.
Bringing him back was big. You added Bud Dupree, Calais Campbell. That's a formidable defense.
Absolutely. You brought in a lot of veteran leadership. to that defense. A.J. Terrell didn't have a great year last year, but maybe he gets a bump this year with a little bit more pressure coming from the front, from the front seven.
Absolutely.
Let's hope that things go well. But this is a team that's going to be saddled with Desmond Ridder as your quarterback. And I can't buy into any of the things that I've heard come out of Arthur Smith's mouth about that. Oh, he's the guy. He really showed us last. Did he? What did he show in the 3 games that he played last year?
You know what he confirmed to me? That you don't actually have to be able to throw a football to play quarterback in the NFL. I really thought that was a prerequisite, and apparently I was horribly wrong.
You were dead wrong.
Steven Towle said, I said Bud Dupree with a straight face. I did, because he's a situational pass rusher now. This is not a big money signing. This is just, you're a dude.
Mm-hmm.
You need to really prove yourself for a year. Do I know that he can do that? No. If he doesn't, does it hurt them in any way? Not really. I've still got Caden Ellis. I've still got Arnold David KT. I've still got Calais Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a lottery ticket. And I'm looking at Atlanta going, all right, how different would I feel if Taylor Heineke was the quarterback here?
If it were me, I'd feel markedly different.
And I think I'm in the same boat. And so maybe that's where my brain is that you have the parachute.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say the Desmond Ridder thing just goes terrible. It's not like you invested a first-round pick in him. So you're not dead set into this. You brought in Taylor Heineke as he's going to be the safety net.
Mm-hmm.
So if 4 games into this, Desmond Ridder looks like he did for much of what he played last year, I can tap out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to lean on Bijan Robinson, who may have the greatest rookie year we've ever seen from a running back, because I think he has that potential. They're using him at receiver. Think about that for a minute. Watch Bijan Robinson be the first true hybrid player that winds up playing slot receiver, too.
Right.
He ran a ton of that in minicamp. Now, they could have just been showing you that as eye candy, like, hey, look what we can do.
Well, I mean, teams have. Nobody's done it yet. Teams have trotted this out in the preseason several years in a row
who was it
now.
you told me the other day? Paris Campbell was running at running back or something like that?
Yeah, he was taking snaps at running back
Yeah,
in New York.
a lot of times I don't put a lot of stock in that because it's, oh, look, it's this thing we have. And if it takes 5 seconds of your preparation away, we did it right.
But remember how cute we thought it was when Cordero Patterson was going to be transformed into a running back. And then how wrong were we about that?
And he did.
And yeah, absolutely. So as long as you have the athleticism to play any of the positions, Arthur Smith's going to find a way to get the most out of you.
Well, there's a phrase that I really like, and it applies to the Atlanta Falcons probably better than any team we actively have in the NFL now. You got Baltimore that's going to be throwing more. Atlanta is going to be the best team in the NFL when it comes to running the damn ball.
There's no way around it.
You can play defense and you can run. There's a team that's been in this league every single year for the last 50 years. Are you great throwing it? No. But we can run it down your throat and we can stop you when you have it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I'm not worried about Ridder. I'm worried about him a lot. If the backup was, I don't know, Marcus Mariota like it was last year, you got to be terrified. Because I don't think you have a fallback here. Ridder falls on his face and Taylor Heineke comes in, just like Bob Brown said, saves the season. They could very easily, I think, still win this division.
Absolutely.
That's how good I think this team is.
They are a contender in the division. I feel much better about it if it's Taylor Heineken. If it's not, and it's Desmond Ridder, you're telling me he's playing 17 games, I gave you 6 wins. And that's about the best I can do. Maybe 7, but still
they
that
have the
takes you out of
weakest
contention.
schedule in the NFL.
They do.
Yeah.
That's something that does need to be talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if they have the weakest schedule in the NFL, if Ridder or Heineke's playing, I think they can still win the division.
Maybe. To me, the division's wide open because I don't know what New Orleans is going to be. I know what Tampa's going to be, and we're going to be bad.
Yeah. It really takes a lot of the wind out of my sails that you know that.
I don't know what Carolina's going to be. I don't know if is it going to go as I have predicted, where the first of the year is just going to be god awful, and then the schedule lightens up in the second half. Bryce Young gets his feet under him, and then boom, away we go. And we take over the division. That's how I see this season unfolding for the Carolina Panthers. But if that doesn't happen, if Bryce Young struggles, as many rookie quarterbacks often do, some reason the scheme can't come together, this division is wide open for the Atlanta Falcons to win it.
Do you understand how bad this schedule is? I mean, do you really wrap your brain around how bad the schedule is? All right, so they open with Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a bad team, but you're catching them at the right time.
Sure.
And it's in Atlanta. So you got rookie quarterback on the road learning a new system, first start of his career. Ooh. Then you stay at home the next week. Jordan Love, third start of his career. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
At Detroit, at Jacksonville. That's not pretty.
Losses.
Probably.
Yeah.
I would say you probably start 2-2. Then you go home with Houston, home with Washington, at Tampa, at Tennessee, Minnesota, Arizona. You tell me who they're supposed to lose to in that. I could make the argument that is 5 of the 8 worst teams in the NFL. The one I took out was Washington because I do believe in them.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could still lose to Minnesota.
I think so, too.
Justin Jefferson have to have 270 yards.
And he might.
I genuinely think Justin Jefferson is going to he's going to poop in your cornflakes because every team in the NFL knows I ain't scared of anybody else. You couldn't run the ball
scare you at all
as a 2. He's a 5'8" 2. No, I'm not worried about that. Okay. Rookie receivers in the NFL, A, learning a new position, B, you're little. I'm going to press you early and often. How many times have we seen young rookie receivers come in the league and struggle with that, especially when they're 5'8"?
Mm-hmm.
I love Jordan Addison. I hate the fit. And you can't run a greasy peg up a cat's keister because your running back is Alexander Madison. Stop me when I'm supposed to feel really scared of something with Minnesota. But I'm just looking at the schedule for Atlanta going, I see a path this team's 8-2 going into their bye week. Now, you'll lose one that you shouldn't. You'll probably win one that you shouldn't. But is it untoward to say this team's 6-4 with dates against Chicago, Indianapolis, Tampa Bay left after that? No. It's just not, and I don't care who the quarterback is. Because you're going to run and you're going to play really good defense. I think they're probably my favorite. They're probably my favorite futures bet in the NFL. Because I don't see the win total was at 7.5. It may have moved now, but it was at 7.5, and I don't see how you possibly go under that. I really don't. I think their floor is 8-9.
Okay.
Ceiling may be 11-6. Schedule's that bad, defense is that good.
Okay. As I've said before, I have high hopes in Bijan Robinson. I think we could be talking about him as the best running back in the NFL after the season is over.
I agree with you. I'm drafting him really highly in fantasy, which we will start doing some fantasy football things next week after we come back from, the weekend. I kind of forgot what day it was.
You're
We're
not
off
going
tomorrow.
on vacation. I am.
No, he's going on vacation. So Jake and I are going to be talking about fantasy football things next week. If there was a position you could add for Atlanta between now and the start of the season, what would it be?
Wide receiver.
100%.
Not close.
I agree.
Scotty Miller, Mac Hollins. It's very
Frank
scary.
Darby.
Frank Cordell Hodge.
J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Yeah, he's still in the NFL. So seriously, he's still in the NFL.
But I just don't know who that could be. Who are you going to sell to come be a part of this team? Is it an attractive place? Do you look at this and will a free agent or a semi-name look at this and go, yeah, we could do something?
I'm a little biased here because he plays for my team, but if he somehow wasn't on the roster, because we've talked about it a lot, Corey Davis. Because he's a really good blocker, and he's going to be able to showcase what it is he does.
And he's got the history with Arthur Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's the one that makes the most sense to me. I would be looking for Atlanta as we start doing roster cutdowns. Look for them to add a receiver. But I feel really good about this team.
All right, the NBA mock draft is coming up next here in the Sportsocracy after the Sports Center update.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Why do you change your car's air filter? Because when it's clogged, it doesn't work. The same is true of your nose, the body's air filter. It's great at trapping allergens, dust, and viruses, but unless you clean it regularly, they can stay trapped, making you miserable. I'm Martin Hogue, inventor of Navage, the world's only nose cleaner with powered suction. Navage pulls saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, helping to flush out allergens, mucus, and germs. Here's a testimonial from a verified purchaser and a big Navage fan. Quote, I've been suffering for 30 years with chronic sinus infections and allergies. I stumbled across Navage. The suction is amazing. It cleared my sinus cavities better than anything I've tried before. Unquote. Navage has over 120,000 reviews with a 4.6-star average written by people who use Navage to breathe better, snore less, and feel healthier. Wash your body's air filter with Navage at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Pool season is here, but open roles got you underwater? Check out Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Only iHeartRadio gives you access to all of your favorite radio stations.
Rover's Morning Glory.
It's The Woody Show.
It's Elliot in the Morning.
All of the once-in-a-lifetime events.
iHeartRadio Music Festival.
All of the best free curated playlists. It's everything that rocks. All of the great podcasts for every interest.
This is Freddie Prinze Jr. from the Wrestling with Freddie podcast.
All of the mind-blowing contests.
$20,000. Awesome.
All of your favorite superstars.
This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters.
Best of all, it doesn't cost a thing. Download the absolutely free iHeartRadio app now.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Flood watch through tomorrow afternoon. We are tracking the rains on weather radar, covering up the mountains of western North Carolina, East Tennessee, the drifting to the west. And it looks like our unusual early summer weather patterns continue for the rest of the work week. Brighter weather returns to Asheville this weekend. 59 degrees with rain showers and a flood watch tonight. Rain showers tomorrow, heavy downpours possible, high 70. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by ComparionInsurance.com.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Never heard of us? We know. But to help it stick that our local agents are insurance experts, we're going to say local agent 3 times in the next 5 seconds. Local agent, local agent, local agent.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Discover credit cards do something pretty awesome at the end of your first year. They automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right. Everything you've earned, doubled. The cash back from trips, restaurants, all doubled. Seriously though, see terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
Are you hungry for the inside scoop of women's soccer?
I'm Sam Mewis.
And I'm Lynn Williams.
And we're professional soccer players, best friends, and the hosts of Snacks, the only women's soccer podcast hosted by active players that gets into the most recent news, gossip, and fun of the NWSL, the women's national team, and the delightful, delicious world of snacks.
It's a weekly show that features great guests from the world of women's soccer, recaps and previews of the biggest matches, and the two of us hanging out with you.
You can listen to Snacks on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
This is He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than
I'm
us.
Doug Brown with the NBA draft tomorrow night. The Hornets are considering their options with the second overall pick. GM Mitch Kupchak won't rule out trading that number 2 overall pick. No team in baseball hotter than the first place Cincinnati Reds right now.
They play Fraley to pull on the infield. Right-handed pitcher, left-handed batter. Fraley yanks it to right toward the corner, and it is gone! Fraley lines it out of here, and the Reds are on top 5-3.
The call on 700 WLW, that's the game winner and the final score. The Reds sweep the Rockies and get their 11th straight win. A U.S. Senate subcommittee on investigation schedules a hearing for July 11th on the proposed golf merger. Among those invited to testify, PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan and LIV CEO Greg Norman. The 23-player U.S. roster for the Women's World Cup includes 14 first-timers. The youngest player, 18-year-old Alyssa Thompson. The oldest, Megan Rapinoe.
It's Wrangler season out there. Open roads, endless horizons. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles made for your next adventure. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Green, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy, presented by Ingalls Supermarkets.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy coming to you live, heard everywhere around the world on the iHeartRadio app, and we're seen everywhere live in the Ingalls studio on ESPN Asheville. Just go to the YouTube channel, go to sportsocracy.com, click that live video link. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. That way you can join us in the chat. You can weigh in on the topics of the day. You can also make topic suggestions and just say funny things, and we will throw it out there to the masses. YouTube.com/thesportsocracy. Now, it's NBA mock draft time because today is NBA draft eve. Tomorrow we will not have a program for you, so today's the day where we have to do the mock draft. Now,
and this is basically everything you need to know. We will make this funny because I'm going to make fun of a slew of these guys because, well, there's 3 players, and then it's close your eyes, throw a dart at a board, and pray to whoever you pray to. And then do that 27 more times.
Yes. We all know the draft starts and ends at number 1. That was the big story. Who's going to get Victor Wembanyama?
Well, and we know that.
It's the San Antonio Spurs. With the number 1 overall pick, I have the first pick in today's mock draft. It's the easiest decision I've ever had to make. It's Victor Wembanyama of Mets 92.
And he will be phenomenal right off the jump.
7'4", 209 pounds.
He's 7'5" and
Oh, he's
shoes.
7'5".
He's
Now
7'5"
he's grown
and
another
shoes.
inch.
Yeah, he's 7'5" and shoes.
And
if you want to know why there's so much hype on this kid, because offensively his ceiling is Kevin Durant, and his floor is probably Yao Ming.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, his ceiling and his floor are Rudy Gobert.
I saw this kid yesterday. The clip on social media was him throwing out the first pitch at the Yankees game.
Did you see
the
that
ball
baseball in
his hand was just, it was just strange. It was like watching a Tim Burton character pick up an acorn in the woods or something. Just these long fingers that make the baseball look like it's about BB-sized.
He also really needs to work on his fastball, because he missed the catcher by about the length of the studio we're sitting in. I will never understand how grown men cannot throw a 90-foot baseball. I will, if I live to be 200 years old, I will never understand how a 19-year-old kid cannot go wee hit him every time. Do you not know how to play catch there, big dog?
Well, because, I guess, I don't know, some guys try to come out and fire one in there and look impressive, and then it just goes
Wembanyama didn't. He stopped about right here and just went, I don't know how to throw a baseball. Hey! I also love that he did that in New York, and he's not playing for the Knicks. Like, it's such a big deal. He's throwing out the first pitch at Yankee Stadium. Well, it would be if he's playing for the Knicks. He should probably be throwing out a pitch for the Rangers because he's going to be playing in Texas.
Yeah, but, you know why they did
I know why he did
Brooklyn.
that, but I just don't understand why it was such a big deal. DNA Tooth Podcast said every 19-year-old kid isn't 6'8". Well, he's 7'5", so I get that. I don't care if you're 5'4" like Tank over here, or if you're 7'5" like Victor Wembanyama. I still don't understand how you cannot throw a baseball. What is it? And I said 90 feet. It's 90 feet to first base. It's 60 feet.
60 feet, 6 inches.
Yeah, it's 20 yards.
Mm-hmm.
You can't throw a baseball 20 yards.
Not accurately.
Really.
It's hard for some professionals to do that sometimes. So,
yeah, Chuck Knobloch. In the message, repeat the line. And for probably much more nefarious reasons. But yeah, that's the easiest pick in the history
Victor
of time.
Wembanyama is he's the next guy, the international star that will come in and take over the NBA, quote unquote. He will follow in line with Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic and Giannis Antetokounmpo. What is it about the international star that is just so ready to take over in the NBA as opposed to American athletes?
Pick me. I know. They didn't play AAU where the coach cares way more about winning and only about your individual stats. They play an actual team brand of basketball, which is why they come to the NBA and absolutely eat your lunchbox.
One of the first things I heard Victor Wembanyama say in an interview the other day was because I haven't paid attention because obviously he plays overseas and he doesn't matter to me. I know that sounds harsh, but honestly, all of these international guys, did you ever care? Like they were showing his games, his finals games in the French league on ESPN. You couldn't get me to watch that. No. If you put me in that A Clockwork Orange thing and held my eyelids open. You've never seen that movie, have you?
No, but I know what you're talking about.
You need
I know what you're talking
Stanley Kubrick, some of his finest work. Anyhow.
Yeah, don't feel bad. I didn't have any idea what he was talking about.
I knew you wouldn't. I'm just kind of moderately shocked that Jake knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, well, it was like a movie night the other day, and I was looking at Clockwork Orange. I watched the trailer. I was like, who would want to watch this?
It's a mind bender. I will tell you. I will say that it is a mind bender. But anyway, I couldn't care less. But I heard him speak, and when he was talking about his excitement level over playing defense in the NBA, I went, oh. Well, this is what's different between him and, say, Scoot Henderson or any of these other guys that come from a G League Ignite team or, the overtime elite or whatever.
Yeah, you're not coming from AAU culture.
Right.
You're playing against grown men. You've been playing against pros. You are a pro. That's why the Euro guys come in here and they're so much more ready.
And that's what makes this a home run pick for the San Antonio Spurs.
Now, I think the second pick is a home run pick, but that will be deferred to the one picking second, which is at the intern, Jake.
Well, number 2 here, I think it's almost as easy as taking Victor Wembanyama. I do not get the Scoot Henderson talk. Come on, guys. Brandon Miller, Alabama.
Absolutely.
For the Charlotte Hornets, it makes all the sense in the world. They need a shooter. He is a shooter. I will say this. If you want a reason to love him, his high side is really intoxicating as a three-point shooter and all the things he can do. I had somebody compare him to a player the other day, and it really bothered me the more I thought about it.
Okay.
It's Marvin Williams. I went, oh, no, don't say that. That's bad words to say around here. That was not a happy time in Charlotte Hornet fandom.
Yeah.
It wasn't great.
It was another retread of a bad contract. Just like he'd get if you traded the number 2 pick in the draft for Zion Williamson. But
well, it's weird that you said that because I'm picking at 3, and I've got I got a player that that the New Orleans Pelicans just so happen to they have him. I want him. They want this number 3 pick, and I'm happily going to give it to him. If I'm the Portland Trailblazers, I'm trading this pick. Scoot Henderson does not fit with Damian Lillard.
Mm-hmm.
Not at
So
all.
basically, there are 2 paths that you can go here. You need to blow this up, and you're going to blow it up with 3 guards that, to me, are virtually the same guy. Scoot is a better point guard. Anthony Simons is a better combo guard. Shaedon Sharpe is a better 2 guard. They're all ball-centric. They're all big scorers. None of them are great distributors. Scoot can pass, but he's got a very Russell Westbrook type of game to him. That's, you asked why would that you said you didn't see the Scoot Henderson thing. Teams that have no stars, and I can just give him free reign to do whatever he wants to. I get it. He's going to score. When they did the showcase against Wembanyama, it was obvious that Scoot could score.
Yeah,
He
but
can
like
get
in
to the basket.
Charlotte, though. In Charlotte. it doesn't
Charlotte,
make
I'm
any
good.
sense. Yeah.
With LaMelo Ball, you talk about a train wreck.
Yeah.
But now in New Orleans, I got Brandon Ingram that can play off the ball. I've got McCollum that's never been ball dominant. I understand why New Orleans wants this pick. They want out of the Zion thing. I don't think this is a scare tactic. And so at 3 with the New Orleans Pelicans, I am taking Scoot Henderson. Don't call him Pook, which I accidentally did in an interview the other day.
Pook?
I couldn't remember his name, and my wife had just texted me, and that is my little pet name for her.
And you call her
and
Pookie.
I called him Pook Henderson. I think I called him Pookie Henderson.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And I went, oh no, that's not his name. His name is Scoot.
All right, that brings me back up at number 4 for the Houston Rockets.
This one will be interesting to me.
But why?
Well, I think it was basically made for you with the report that now all indicators are leaning that James Harden's going back to Philadelphia.
Yes.
Had that not been the case, I think there would have been some contention of maybe you could have taken somebody else here. But there is a guy that, to me, is clearly the 4th best player in this class.
Amen Thompson.
That is correct.
Amen Thompson.
And you
is
said
the
his
one.
name right, which I'm really impressed by.
Mm-hmm.
That was not a shot at you. I've just heard people call him Amen.
Amen. Yeah.
No, his name is Amen.
Right. Amen Thompson, one half of the Thompson twins. How does he fit with the Houston Rockets?
Well, I mean, he's going to be able to get to the basket. The biggest knock on him is he's not a great shooter. And there is some fear for me that you get into the Kevin Porters and you get into the Jalen Greens, and you've got a lot of high-usage players here. With Harden, I was Seacrest out. I didn't know where they were going to go, but I knew it wasn't going to be Amen Thompson. Now that I feel like they've almost become resigned that Harden's not coming back, that opens it up to this. He's got a lot of raw talent. He's a big guard. He's just going to have to learn to shoot because he turns the ball over a lot.
He shoots like 30% from the floor.
And it's even worse than that behind the three-point line. So you're getting a kid this is the stereotypical slasher. But I do think he can come in and be impactful pretty quickly. And you do have good shooters. Jalen Green's a pretty good shooter. Kevin Porter's a really good shooter. So I don't mind the fit with Houston. It's not completely seamless, but I would do the same thing. Notorious B.I.G. asked at this point, is James Harden any good? Not really, but he's at least a star that could sell some tickets in Houston because right now they have to wear name tags when they walk in the building so that the 8 fans that they had would go, hey, it's Jalen Green. We're getting ready to watch him play.
Number 5, the Detroit Pistons.
This one will be fun for me.
Yeah, when you look at Detroit, you obviously have one of my favorite players of all time, Jaden Ivey, and then Cade Cunningham. So you're looking at players who's going to complement.
Purdue guy.
Yeah.
I saw the turning your head of this.
I was trying to figure out
ever.
the connection here. Why Jaden Ivey, greatest of all time? Okay,
I love him. I love him. And then obviously Monty Williams coming in. Now, this could come out of left field, but I think this could really help this Pistons team. I watched them play a lot last year. Jarris Walker.
I'm not sure their coach watched them play a lot last year. I think he was smoking heaters and getting bags of popcorn. Hey, put Bagley in and I'll be back in a minute. I got to take a squirt.
All right, so he's going Jarris Walker.
That's interesting. I don't mind Jarris Walker. It's just, to me, that's kind of a hat on a hat with Bagley and Wiseman. and I'm not saying that's not going to happen. I know they worked him out.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's probably more likely they go with a wing guy. There's not one that fits there unless you go Anthony Black, and that probably feels a little early for me. I mean, Jarris Walker's he's not the best player on my board, but he's pretty close. So I understand why you did that. They believe a lot in Wiseman and Bagley. And so basically they're going to be in the same boat that Houston is. We got a ton of wing guys. They got a ton of front court guys. But with Monty Williams, I have a belief that you can coach it up. He's a good coach.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
And Phoenix was stupid to let him walk out
and
the
Jarris
door.
Walker is also coming from another good coach in Houston. So
that's true.
It's benefits. It's
now, who
beneficial.
interviewed for the Bucks job, and I really wish he'd taken it. But he didn't.
Number 6, the Orlando Magic. Jeremy has the pick.
Well, I'm a huge fan of them taking Grady Dick, and if you watch we will be doing a little special after the show where we can be a little more uncensored, and I'll tell you why that is. But it's a little early for that. Look, Orlando's just that's a weird team. I can't figure out what they actually do well. I don't think they've drafted poorly. I like Jalen Suggs. I like Cole Anthony to a point. But they just don't really have, outside of Banchero, anybody that does much for me. I like Franz Wagner, but it's not like I don't think he's a star. They seem to be billing him out like he's going to be the second star, and I just don't really believe that. But there is a player I like a lot. He's kind of a hat on a hat. He is the best player on the board for me. It's Cam Whitmore, a power forward out of Villanova. He's really been popular in the process, and I think he's going to be a really good player.
Mm-hmm.
To me, he's getting into that Tyrese Halliburton. Like, I don't understand why you're not seeing this. Oh, he played on a team that's not any good. Well, that doesn't matter anymore. He doesn't play at Villanova anymore. And there was a coaching change, and things were a little unstable.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody's going to get a value in him. I don't love the fit with Orlando, but the most likely scenario is that you tap out on Wendell Carter a year from now. Whitmore plays power forward, and you move Banchero to center.
Indiana Pacers' hardest hit.
No doubt.
Because that's exactly where we were going to go with the pick at number 7. Luckily for me, we're up against the break, so I'll have the pick at 7 with the Indiana Pacers coming up right after this here in the Sportsocracy.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
We're seeing heavy traffic on 26 heading westbound between US 25 and NC 146. Slow traffic on 240 westbound between US 70 and US 19. Delays on 40 westbound between Fines Creek Road and Gov Road. And the shoulder is closed on 26 eastbound due to construction between NC 191 and US 64. I'm Elena Begsa with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. If you're like many people, you may think custom blinds is a job for expensive professionals. Well, at Blindster, if you have a tape measure and a screwdriver, you can install our custom blinds and save big. Plus, we guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
Tomorrow, iHeartRadio is partnering with Global Citizen to join artists, activists, and global citizens around the world, calling on world leaders to take urgent action against climate change and to power our planet. Celebrate the movement with Lenny Kravitz, Billie Eilish, Her, John Batiste, Phineas, and many more. Performing live. Join us for Power Our Planet live in Paris. Listen to Global Citizen Radio on the free iHeartRadio app. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific.
Over 50,000 police officers are assaulted each year. Help police by not escalating. Address any complaints after the encounter. Comply now, complain later. Keep everybody safe. This message brought to you by the National Police Association. Learn more at nationalpolice.org.
Hey, Jay, can you finish that induction range installation tomorrow?
Orders have really amped up at Nate's Electric.
We need to finish installing it first in Maine. Did we hear back from the grocery chain?
It's no shock he needs electricians, like yesterday.
Smart fridge. Everybody wants one of those these days.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Spring in the South means the return of Atlanta Braves baseball.
There's a liner out towards center field. It will lay down. Here comes Ronald. Braves win it.
The 2023 Braves load up for another huge season.
The Braves play here on ESPN Asheville.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that, and that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home. When it's time to buy, visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cot?
I know we're all excited about the upcoming NBA draft tomorrow night.
Sarcasm.
Victor Wembanyama, the highlight of the night, and then Hornets fans, you only have to watch for a few moments after that to find out whether or not, we do that thing that we're going to do.
Are Hornets going to Hornet, or are you going to take Brandon Miller like you should?
Exactly. Will they make the wrong pick, or will they trade the pick? Who knows? But you won't have to watch for long, I don't think. And then the draft gets fun after that. And by fun, I mean whatever you choose to supplant the time you would spend watching the draft with whatever fun activity you want.
There are some of you that really lock into it, so we're going to go pretty rapid fire here.
Right.
Through the rest of the first round, I'll probably make a slew of jokes because every one of these guys has a hole in his game that's big enough that I could drive a semi through. And it starts with Tank's pick here at number 7 with the Indiana Pacers.
The Indiana Pacers at number 7 after Cam Whitmore comes off of the board prior to them. They have focused in on all of the power forwards, and they are going to go after a kid that, honestly, none of us really know.
Dollar if you can tell me who the starting power forward of the Indiana Pacers is right now. Anybody? Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, no.
It's Aaron Nesmith.
And who cares about Aaron Nesmith?
Yeah, there you go.
But maybe Taylor Hendricks from UCF, 6'9" power forward. He's a stretch player.
He's a really good shooter.
Shoots pretty well from outside. He's got a hell of a turnaround jumper over the left shoulder. He's got some good moves.
Oh yeah, he's a really good shooter. He also rebounds only when he does so out of self-preservation because it's going to hit him in the face. And that kind of scares me, putting that next to Miles Turner. Oh, he's a stretch guy. Well, yeah, he's going to play away from the basket a lot, so he can shoot. That's cool. But can he really do anything else? He's a super projection. He is the definition of an NBA draft pick. And it makes sense for the Indiana Pacers because, how many times have they done that?
Yeah, I mean, he's got the size, he's got the physicality to be, or potential physicality to be a good rebounder in this league.
Yeah,
but he's going to need a lot of coaching. He's going to need a lot of coaching to get it done.
You need to start catching or actually catching rebounds, not because you're scared they're going to hurt you, because that's basically what I saw.
By the way, Indiana, their three main targets for this pick were Cam Whitmore, Jarris Walker, both of those gone, and then Taylor Hendricks were the guys that they brought in for workouts for this pick. They also brought in Grady Dick, but we like him in Orlando much better, and we'll tell you why in the happy hour extension coming up at the end of the program today. Stay tuned on the YouTube stream for that.
And if you're not around a YouTube stream, you'll see it on the TikTok and the Instagrams and all the short form things, thanks to @TheInternJake.
So Taylor Hendricks is the pick at number 7 for the Indiana Pacers. How about the Washington Wizards at number 8, intern Jake.
So at number 8 here, obviously you can see somebody is falling down this draft board. And I'm going to say, no, sorry, I don't want him. I actually want Anthony Black, point guard, Arkansas.
And that's, I think, where Washington would go. If you look at the roster, there is a rumor now that Boston is feverishly trying to trade for Kristaps Porzingis. So don't be shocked if several pieces from Boston end up in Washington. And Anthony Black is a guy that I know they like. Gets to the basket a lot. Really good free throw shooter. I can't tell you that he's ever going to be great, but I also really struggle to believe that he's not going to be good.
And also, I mean, Chris Paul's already there, so you can learn from him.
Yeah, Chris Paul is going to spend as many minutes in a Washington Wizards jersey as I do. And we all know how Jeremy feels about grown men wearing jerseys. Looking right at Tank. But Anthony Black, that's where I would have gone with that as well. Now, we're to the fighting Utah Jazz. Ooh. I don't like this. I'm not in love with how this team's being built. And I'm not going to do it either. You're talking about Oscar Thompson's falling. I'm not going to do it either. And I think this is exactly how it's going to go on draft night. Like you said, I know they have some interest in Grady Dick. I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to take a player that I know definitively they really like, Bilal Kalalabi, who played with Victor Wembanyama in France for the Met 92. That kid has screamed up the board. And I've heard it's Utah at 9 or Utah at 16. And if they wind up with no big guys, that's who it'll be.
Okay.
We don't know a ton about him, but he really impressed late in the season.
And what say his name again?
It's a difficult one to say. Coulibaly. Bilal Coulibaly.
Mm-hmm. All right, at number 10.
There you go.
Look, I got nothing. Because I've never heard of that guy before. At number 10, it's the Dallas Mavericks. On the clock. There's a lot of talk that they may trade this pick.
I'm almost positive they're going to trade this pick.
But I'm not the 3D chess player that Jeremy is, so I'm just going to stick with it. We're going to make this pick. We got a lot of heat because we tanked the end of the season to have this number 10 pick, so we're hanging on to it. Want to try to find something that will help this team do something. I don't know what you're trying to do, honestly. I didn't know what you were trying to do when you brought Kyrie Irving in the first place.
It's not good.
Kyrie Irving is a guy who is a detriment to every team he's ever been on. And for some reason, Mark Cuban and the Brain Trust with the Dallas Mavericks went, we've got one of the biggest superstars in the NBA. Let's pair him with the biggest travesty of a teammate.
Yes.
But they do like Grady Dick a lot. And I think this is where Grady Dick has to come off the board.
No!
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
That would have been one of the best duos of all time.
Tank ruined the game.
He did.
Tank ruined the game.
I mean, he's one of the best shooters, obviously, coming out of college, so I respect the pick, but...
Oh, no, it's the right thing to do. Frankly, the only other player I would have even considered here would have been Derek Lively. Because he is the bigger guy, but Grady Dick was the right call.
Yeah.
Ruins me and Jake's fun. But that doesn't mean that we can't talk about it in the after show.
No, absolutely not. And you know what? If Orlando really wants him, they can go out and get him. They have the 6th pick. Now, Orlando comes up with the 11th pick here, being spurned by the Dallas Mavericks after Grady Dick comes off the board.
Looking at it, probably need a small forward. So he's fell enough. Let's get a Sar Thompson right here.
He is the exact opposite of his brother. I have never seen two twins that look as much alike and their games are this different. Because we were talking about Amon really needs to learn to shoot. Oscar's not a terrible shooter. He can get better. He's a really good passer. He's a pretty good defender. It's just going to be finding the niche. Amon is the better prospect. I would say Amon's floor is 5. Oscar starts at 5 and could fall all the way down to 11. It wouldn't shock me in the least. Wouldn't shock me in the least.
We'll see what happens then.
Yeah. Number 12.
That would be me with the Oklahoma City Thunder, who have 1.5 billion picks. I know they like Coulibaly as well. He's obviously not on the board. So I have to take somebody that is.
That would help. That would be helpful.
Well, and here's the thing. They haven't worked out anybody that's at this pick. Oklahoma City is desperately trying to trade up. Who it's for, I don't really know. But if they were to stay here, looking at the way this team's built, I feel like they have to get somebody that would be a little bit of protection for Chet Holmgren. So I'm going Derek Lively out of Duke.
All right.
He's gone up the board just solely because there's so few big guys. And he's the rim protector. I think he would be Chet Holmgren insurance. Now, I must repeat this again. I do not believe there is any chance that they make that pick at 12. They're going to move one way or the other. They want to go up. We'll see if they find a landing spot.
But if they did, then they could take Derek Lively, who, the defensive side of his game did become more lively as his career went on.
He has gotten in the last week. I hear his name way more now than I did in the pre-draft. Not going to give you much except as kind of a lob guy at this point, offensively. But I think there is room for him to get better as an offensive player.
Fair enough. All right, we are back to my pick at number 13 with the Toronto Raptors. It's time to take another break. We will return with the 13th selection in the 2023 Sportsocracy NBA Last Minute NBA Draft Spectacular. Next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Flood watch through tomorrow afternoon. We are tracking the rains on weather radar, covering up the mountains of western North Carolina, East Tennessee, the drifting to the west. And it looks like our unusual early summer weather patterns continue for the rest of the work week. Brighter weather returns to Asheville this weekend. 59 degrees with rain showers and a flood watch tonight. Rain showers tomorrow, heavy downpours possible, high 70. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
We're seeing heavy traffic on 26 westbound between US 25 and NC 146. 240 westbound is also seeing some delays between US 70 and US 19. Heavy congestion on I-40 westbound between Fines Creek Road and Gov Road. And the shoulder is closed due to construction on 26 eastbound between NC 191 and US 64. I'm Elena Vegso with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. During Staples Small Business Deal Days, you save 50% when you buy any combination of 5 or more boxes, mailers, and shipping tubes. Offer ends July 1st. Exclusions apply. Not valid in Concord, New Hampshire location. Prices may vary. Keep your business running right and save at Staples.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
Let's be real. Mopping is a hassle. You have to fill the bucket, pushing a wet, heavy mop around, then cleaning the mop when you're done so it doesn't grow bacteria. A hassle on top of a hassle. Try Swiffer WetJet. With Swiffer WetJet, you start with a fresh pad and cleaning solution every time. And when you're done, you just toss the pad. Swiffer WetJet, the faster, easier, cleaner way to clean your floors.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa
Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
The Sportsocracy.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
Back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. NBA draft tomorrow night. We're cruising through the NBA Sportsocracy mock draft spectacular here on a Draft Eve program. We will not be with you tomorrow, so that's why we're doing the mock draft today and not tomorrow. We'll have Braves baseball here on ESPN Asheville, so another day off here for the Sportsocracy crew. Now, as we continue through the draft here, we're down to pick number 13, the Toronto Raptors, sitting on the clock. This is the team that is in great flux. Fred VanVleet's going to test free agency.
And I won't be shocked if they sign and trade him somewhere.
There have been lots of rumors about a Pascal Siakam trade, potentially. So that could throw a monkey wrench into whatever they're planning on doing with this first-round pick, or do they trade it away or what? But they hold on to the pick here. Toronto takes Cason Wallace out of Kentucky.
Another kid that's gotten really hot in the later stages of the process. I didn't necessarily think he was going in the lottery to begin with. He's super raw.
Mm-hmm.
But you saw a little bit of it at Kentucky. Plus, he's a natural point guard, which there are not a ton of in this class. He is going to have to learn to shoot the ball better.
I was going to say, does he have the handles to be able to run the NBA offense?
Probably as a second-team guy to start, but he couldn't time it. He's only 19 and a half years old.
Mm-hmm.
So he's raw, but a lot of teams really like the upside.
Yep. I mean, shooting almost 35% from three-point range at the moment. Yes, that needs to get better, but, I mean, the kid's, 19 years old?
Yes.
So
he's going to have to be a better shooter, but I at least saw the raw there that I get why he's going to the lottery.
All right, that brings us around to the 14th pick at the intern, Jake.
New Orleans Pelicans need a shooter. Guess what? I'm going to give them the second best shooter in the draft. Give me Jordan Hawkins out of UConn.
That kid made himself a lot of money in their
natty run.
Their run to the national title. I get it. You know, I'm not as high on him as a lot of other people are, but I get it. You saw. I think you saw the high side in the tournament. I don't know that there's a lot of room to grow there, but you know,
he can be a sniper.
He can be a sniper, and you add him to a team that really needed a shooter. I don't think 14 will be involved if New Orleans does make a move up to get Scoot Henderson. All right, Atlanta is probably the saddest team in the NBA. I just sit here and go, well, there's a lot of players that we liked. You know, probably the two best players on this team are both point guards. Probably the three of the four best players left on the board are also point guards. So it's not that I'm going necessarily off the board. I'm just going a little higher on a guy than you usually hear him. And it's because I keep hearing they're going to trade John Collins. It's Noah Clowney, power forward out of Alabama.
Okay.
He strikes me as the player that a team is going to take when they just go, well, everything we wanted to do fell to poopy. Because if you're going to have a lottery ticket, he is probably the best lottery ticket outside of the lottery. Because you did see at Alabama, he can score. He is impactful down low. He's just another one that's raw. And does he work outside of that gimmicky offense that Alabama runs?
Mm-hmm. The Utah Jazz have the number 16 pick.
Already took Coulibaly earlier.
Mm-hmm. And you know, it feels very early to me to do this. But
are you about to take a guy that you just love?
I mean, I don't love him per se.
Oh, I thought you were.
But I know that they have worked him out. I know that they are fans. And it's Jaime Jaquez.
Yep, that was who I thought it was.
I love it.
Jaime Jaquez Jr. out of UCLA. I'm seeing a lot of mock drafts that have him going in the second round, and to me, that's just insane.
He probably will go in the second round. Utah did work him out. I think where you might have missed this is the talk of Jordan Clarkson being traded, which would open up the Jalen Hood-Schifino, Nick Smith, Kobe Buffkins of the world.
Yep.
Which is, I would say that's probably. Now, if the trade doesn't happen, I get it. They worked out Jaquez. I don't know where he fits because I don't know what position he plays.
Mm-hmm.
That's the magic of Jaime Jaquez.
No, good Lord, no. No, he'll play probably the 3. I think he was listed as a small forward on the combine registry.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think he played. I certainly don't think he played point guard, but he will have a role. He strikes me as the guy that you see in every NBA draft where you go, man, that kid's never going to be great, but he'll be in the league for like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he just doesn't do a lot wrong. That's the biggest thing. He can play defense. He can lock. I mean, you saw it against Drew Pember. Dude couldn't even score.
Oh, yeah.
One of the best players in the Big South. He locks him down. I mean, Jaime Jaquez just does everything right.
Oh, hold on. Who's got the next pick?
I do.
You do. All right, you make the Lakers pick, and then I think we have breaking news. I got to verify what it is.
Well, Lakers on the clock. I was going to take Casey Wallace, but no. I'm going to take another point guard here. Give me Jalen Hood-Schifino, or I like to call him Jalen Schifino.
He absolutely loves this guy.
I do. I mean, when you watch him play, it's like jazz. And as a Purdue fan, now listen,
like
as a
jazz
Purdue
flute?
fan, no, he's just smooth. He's just really smooth, and his best performances came against good teams. You talk about Purdue. Purdue was, I think, number 3 at the moment. He comes at Mackey Arena and decides to go off for 30-plus points, and that's a hard place to even score 20-plus points. Jalen Hood-Schifino could be one of the best point guards out of this class.
I like it. That sets me up with the 18th pick. But first, we have breaking news on NBA Draft Eve.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
You got to turn your stupid music down. I'm not going to scream it while you do your weird dance. And the fact that you did it with your tongue out, that made that even weirder. I didn't need a reason to drink tonight, but thank you for giving me one. The Boston Celtics, as I stated earlier in the show, have completed a trade for Kristaps Porzingis.
But for why?
He was good last year, like really good. I think this adds a lot to Boston.
Okay.
What bothers me is it's a 3-team trade. We have the Boston Celtics getting Kristaps Porzingis, the Los Angeles Clippers get Malcolm Brogdon, and the Washington Wizards have just said, hell with all, we don't need anything. They got back Marcus Morris and draft picks. Woo!
All right.
If you're a Washington Wizards season ticket holder, for the love of all that's good and holy, why?
Right.
Let's show up this year. We traded Bradley Beal. We traded Kristaps Porzingis. Let's show up for what exactly? You want to talk about a team that is unsellable? Can you name the starting lineup of the Washington Wizards right now?
No.
Okay, let me go a step further than that. Can you name a starter of the Washington Wizards right now?
Bernard King.
Shamet would start, right?
As of right now. Now, Chris Paul will be waived. He is not playing it because I guarantee you he ain't lining up with this group of winners. So we'll go. It's Monty Morris, Landry Shamet, Corey Kispert, Denny Avija, and Daniel Gafford. Let's go for your local YMCA All-Stars. All right. Washington Wizards basketball. They're doing stuff. Back to what we were doing after Washington has just continued the absolute decimation of their franchise. It's a good trade for the Clippers. It's a good trade for the Celtics. Washington, wow. That was a parting gift because their new GM worked for the Clippers. He was going, hey, guys, when I get to Washington, I got you. I got you. I will get you that rotational player you need. Thank you for that awesome cake you got me to tell me goodbye. Got you. Wow. Don't often see a team just go, nope, don't care. Don't care. I don't care what we get back. We're trading Kristaps Porzingis. What do you want? What do you got? You got players and stuff.
I mean,
you?
as long as it makes sense monetarily.
Yeah, you got some players and
we
stuff.
Don't care.
Let's do that. All right. 18 here in the mock draft. The Miami Heat. This is just picking the history of time. It's one of the only players in the top 20 they've worked out. Nick Smith Jr., point guard out of Arkansas. At some point, you need somebody that can be a, I don't know, point guard. That'd be great. Tyler Hero, nope. Duncan Robinson, not so much. If you told me a player that doesn't go in the top 5 ended up a all-star out of this class, I would bet anything you want it's Nick Smith.
Okay.
I hate to say this because I love this guy. Mm-hmm. I'm not convinced Eric Musselman's actually a good coach. I know he can get players in. I'm not sure he's a good coach. That team was way too talented last year to be what they were.
I mean, I agree with you there.
All right, Golden State Warriors, number 19.
But they're trying to trade up. Just throwing that out there.
I mean, they are.
Everybody's trying to trade up, either trade up or trade down. Nobody's just happy where they are. It's like the dating scene in 2023, and nobody's just happy with what they have. It could be better. You could be better.
Yep.
Maybe take a shower more than once a week, George.
I'm going to go with Chris Murray out of Iowa.
I knew he was going to groan when you did that.
You got to be kidding me.
I mean, the kid's almost a 40% three-point shooter.
Yeah.
I feel like he can fill a hole there. Like, we're not sure what Jonathan Kuminga is going to turn into. We need another piece coming off the bench for this aging team.
Yeah, I mean that's a solid pick. He fits Golden State. If they can't get Draymond Green back, that would make a lot of sense. I feel like he's a wish version of his brother, and his brother went 5 to Sacramento last year. So that to me makes all the sense in the world.
All right, 20, we got the Houston Rockets back up on the clock. I think the first one was Amin Thompson, correct?
Yep. Yes.
And so that means we're going to take a guy who I feel like needs some work. He's a good shooter, kind of struggles on the defensive end, but he's coming out of the Big Ten. I really like the Big Ten. Let's talk about Jet Howard here at 20.
The son of Michigan coach Juwan Howard. Yeah, he's good at the basketball.
Yeah, 100%.
He is a little raw, but he is a gigantic kid.
Now, I mean, the defensive end, yeah, it's worrying a little bit, but
if
you can score, it's okay.
Don't worry, Houston doesn't play defense.
Yeah.
Houston's like a frat boy. They're just trying to score. They really don't care about anything else. Credit card statements, none of that matters. I'm here to score. That is it. And that really steered in that direction. All right, I'm up at 21 with the Brooklyn Nets, who are horror awful. But I've been told they are really defensive of Mikal Bridges. Like to the point Memphis offered them 4 first-round picks, and they said no.
Holy cow.
Yeah, they went, nope, we're good.
Okay,
which is stupid.
I was going to say keep him.
But that's what they did. Not a lot of players they have worked out here. So I'm going to go with Brandon Podziemski from Santa Clara. Yes, Santa Clara is going to have their third first-round pick. Steve Nash, Jalen Williams, Brandon Podziemski.
Okay. Don't know who that is, but
he's a bigger two-guard. He's a bigger two-guard. He's a really good scorer. I don't know that he's ever going to be good enough. Think Joe Harris on steroids. Actually, you know what? It's not steroids because that makes it sound like he's doing crimes.
Mm-hmm.
Think Joe Harris if Joe Harris didn't look like a dad that grilled out with his buddies every weekend. Like if Joe Harris looked like an NBA player, that's what this kid reminds me of.
Okay.
Instead, Joe Harris looks like he should hang out with us.
All right, Brooklyn also has the 22nd pick.
Yes.
In the draft. I will make that selection. And Jeremy, how about Olivier Maxence Prosper from Marquette?
A probably a little high, but
Little too high?
not crazy. And look, big guys, you start with a few. You got to run right there from like 5 to 10. And then we just go, how many guards is too many guards? So, I mean, I get it. Brooklyn needs talent. That
Absolutely.
team, that roster is awful.
Absolutely. And this is a guy that, unlike all of these, one-and-done freshmen.
He's a
this kid's
legit
junior.
21, almost 22-year-old junior.
Right. He's a little seasoned, and, he's long. Very long. 7'1" wingspan on his 6'8" build.
He's a talented kid. I don't think the ceiling is super high on him, but he can probably contribute right away better than a lot of guys in this class.
All right, down to the home stretch of the draft here. Let's go number 23.
We've got the Portland Trail Blazers, and they are going to take Keontae George out of Baylor.
This seems like a bit of a fall, but he hasn't worked out for a lot of teams, and there's not been a lot of buzz on him. He's another one that's really raw. That adds another guard to Portland.
Yeah.
But that's one that I feel like has at least a modicum of an all-around game, as opposed to Anthony Simons and Shaedon Sharpe and Damian Lillard, who are just, how many points can I score and how quickly can I do it? All right, so I have the Kings at 24.
Mm-hmm.
This might be a little high for this guy. But I look at the Kings roster, probably going to lose Rashawn Holmes. He's got a really palatable contract. Not a ton of big guys that I really like. So I'm going to go Tracy Jackson Davis out of Indiana.
Okay.
I love the pick.
I think somebody's going to take him higher. If I had two, he's another guy it's more veteran, more ready to come in right now. If I had two sweeping declarations, Tracy Jackson Davis will go in the first round. Jalen Slauson from Furman will get drafted in this draft. I wish there was a way I could bet on that, but there's not. I'm a degenerate gambler, and I like to bet on anything.
Jackson Davis is just so athletic, and he can take it to the cup on anybody.
I think he's a nice compliment with Demontis Sabonis.
I do too. And I mean, you saw it last year. Like, Jackson Davis could score on 7'4" Zach Edey like it was nothing.
Yep.
He can score on some people in the NBA.
Yep.
Trust me.
He's a talented player.
Memphis Grizzlies at number 25.
Hey, you might want to draft a point guard here because, they have one, but he likes to play with the bang, 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 bang. Or the if it was a toy, it'd squeak like a dog's chew toy.
Was it true? I never did verify that 2 days ago he posted another Instagram video where he used a gun lighter to light a candle on Instagram.
Yeah, he did.
Like a toy gun lighter. He was using it to light the candle on his Instagram story, and it's like, what are you not getting out of that? I don't care that it's a lighter and not an actual handgun. The visual of you holding that is just stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it personally, but I've been told that, yes. So, might want to go point guard here, and there's a real good one that's still on board.
There is? Who would that be?
Oh, Kobe Buffkin. He should not still be here. He probably goes in the top 20. I just can't find a place for him to go.
There you go, Kobe Buffkin. Let's make that the pick.
Well, did you see what I did there, Jack? That was handing a line to my friend, because I have been inundated with this draft, and I know Tank was sitting there going, so.
Well, I'm sitting there going, what do I do now?
Like, where do we?
Because I was thinking TDJ, but you took him.
Yeah, sure did.
So now it's Memphis' turn, and they're going, best player available.
They would be super happy with that, and there is precedent for that. They did the same thing with Tyrese Halliburton and then turned him into the basis of a playoff team.
Mm-hmm. All right, number 26.
Got the Indiana Pacers here. I got to be honest, I was digging deep for this, but when you look at Jalen Wilson, I think he could be a good fit here. Especially if the Pacers are thinking about dealing Buddy Hield. I think he could be a good person to fill that spot. But also you do have Benedict Mathurin. But Jalen Wilson, I think, could be the best available right now. So I'm going to take him at 26.
He's come up the board a little bit. Mm-hmm. So that's not as off the beaten path as you might think. Charlotte Hornets, 27. You took Brandon Miller, hometown team. I'm looking at the workouts, and no team in the NBA has worked out more players than the Charlotte Hornets. So you're probably going to see them go not necessarily deep divey, but don't be shocked if their summer league team is somewhat impressive, just guys that you know. Gigi Jackson out of South Carolina. They worked him out. I won't be shocked since they don't have another pick if they just they take him a little early because he does have a really high side. Just played for a South Carolina team that wasn't very good.
All right, the Utah Jazz have the number 28 pick, and I'm gonna throw this out. I mean, do teams still do that thing where they have an international guy and they stash him?
Yes.
How about Sidi Sissoko? He's also out of France and played in the G League Ignite this past season. That's just a developmental guy.
Yeah, but that's not a stash guy. He played with the Ignite.
Is he not?
No.
Okay.
Once an international player comes over, the reason that international players don't come over here is because their contracts have buyouts. Well, his is already bought out, so he would be on the roster now.
I'm just looking at Utah going, where the hell are you guys? I mean, you have all the players.
Yeah, and they're all young, like really young. That wasn't totally off the board. I have him as he'll go in the beginning of the second round, or right there, There's not a ton of discrepancy between the two.
Indiana Pacers.
29 Indiana Pacers. I talked about them a lot before the show. I feel like this guy could be very good. Is it no? It's not the Indiana Pacers. It's the Nuggets, right?
Yes, this is the Nuggets.
Sorry.
This is the one they traded before the show.
Yes, sorry. So it is the Nuggets.
Okay.
You add someone who can play a combo guard. I like Marcus Sasser here out of Houston. I love him.
Jeremy doesn't like him.
See, I don't know, though.
Pretty plugged into this team. That's not the guy they traded up there to get.
Who do you think?
That kind of fits into their play, but that's a second-round pick. They take first-round picks that are guys. The guys that they have worked out are Tracy Jackson Davis, Kobe Brown from Missouri, Jordan Walsh from Arkansas, and Andre Jackson. That's the one that I bet you they made this move for because they want to get the guaranteed years on him.
Yeah.
And Sasser, if you were going to do that, you already have that guy in Marcus Golden. And he's played about as many minutes as I have. But if Bruce Brown doesn't come back, well, okay. I get it.
All right, final pick of the first round.
That goes to me, and it's who, the Los Angeles Clippers?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
All right, I'm just going to take the kid. It's close to them. Maxwell Lewis, the small forward out of Pepperdine. California kid. Everybody seems to love him. I keep getting told he's going in the first round, so we will see if that's how it goes.
There you go. There is your first round mock draft, Sportsocracy style, here on ESPN Asheville. The daily draft's coming up next. I mean, this class may not be one of the greatest of all time, but coming up next, the three of us will be drafting the greatest draft classes of all time.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
We're seeing more stop and go on 240 westbound between US 70 and US 19. 26 westbound is seeing a lot of congestion between US 29 and NC 146. Slow traffic on I-40 westbound between Fines Creek Road and Gov Road. And the shoulder is closed due to construction on 26 eastbound between NC 191 and US 64. I'm Elena Vegso with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by STEM.
Humans can do a lot of amazing things. Fighting bugs? Ew, a bug, get it! Isn't one of them. STEM is powered by active ingredients found in plants to fight off bugs safely and effectively when used as directed. STEM, rooted in nature, optimized by science.
You'd do anything to keep your vehicle happy. Let's make sure it stays running smoothly. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, the right parts are just a click away. When you see the green check, you know that part will fit. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Get your tickets now
at AXS.com
for our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Coming back to Las Vegas.
2 nights.
September 22nd and 23rd.
1 stage.
At T-Mobile Arena.
Streaming live only on Hulu.
This
is the iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Buy your tickets for our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival now.
Before they sell out.
At AXS.com.
That's AXS.com.
Why do you change your car's air filter? Because when it's clogged, it doesn't work. The same is true of your nose, the body's air filter. It's great at trapping allergens, dust, and viruses, but unless you clean it regularly, they can stay trapped, making you miserable. I'm Martin Hogue, inventor of Navage, the world's only nose cleaner with powered suction. Navage pulls saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, helping to flush out allergens, mucus, and germs. Here's a testimonial from a verified purchaser and a big Navage fan. Quote, I've been suffering for 30 years with chronic sinus infections and allergies. I stumbled across Navage. The suction is amazing. It cleared my sinus cavities better than anything I've tried before. Unquote. Navage has over 120,000 reviews with a 4.6-star average written by people who use Navage to breathe better, snore less, and feel healthier. Wash your body's air filter with Navage at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Who now reports the Celtics are working on a 3-team trade that would bring Kristaps Porzingis from the Wizards to Boston. Malcolm Brogdon would go to the Clippers. Woj reports there's still work to do on this possible deal. Memphis Tigers head coach Penny Hardaway gets a 3-game suspension for the start of the college basketball season for recruiting violations. And after waiting 75 years for a U.S. Open, Los Angeles will get another one just 8 years from now. The USGA announces today the 2031 tournament will be played at Riviera Country Club.
A shorthanded summer staff calls for Indeed. Their hiring platform helps attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Green, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingalls Supermarkets.
It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. You're listening locally on 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Hear us everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app and see us live in the Ingalls studio on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, and join us in the chat. It is an NBA draft eve here in the Sportsocracy. Way more basketball than I feel like has ever been talked about on this program, but here we are.
This is also the day where the NBA basically goes to die for us because we'll talk about the draft on Friday for a segment, and then it's all about football.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there'll be some free agency news, and every year we say this. The NBA offseason is way more entertaining than the NBA regular season. It's not even close. Because you could talk about who's going to wind up on what team, but once the rosters are set, you pretty much just chalk it up that the Denver Nuggets are going to win the championship for the next 3 years.
No doubt. That's given.
It is.
We all know that.
Nikola Jokic, we have said on this show for the last few days since they became your 2023 NBA champion Denver Nuggets that he might be the greatest draft pick of all time.
Correct.
Where does his draft class fall in, though? Will it be making an appearance in today's daily draft, where Jeremy, myself, and intern Jake drafting the all-time greatest draft classes? Jake has the first pick?
Jake has the first pick.
Who's got two?
Tank does.
Cool.
Ooh.
First
All
pick
right.
here. I mean, come on. You got the draft that has the literal GOAT in it. So we're going with the 1984 NBA draft with Hakeem Olajuwon, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, John Stockton.
I mean, that was the right choice. There was no other way you could go with that.
Wasn't there, though?
No.
Wasn't there,
No.
though?
Is there
Come
another
on,
draft?
That was 100% away you could go.
Is there another draft that gave you 2 stars like Hakeem Olajuwon and Michael Jordan?
I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. I mean, it was definitely on my list. I don't think it was a no doubt that's the only one it could possibly have ever been.
As he said, greatest player of all time and Michael Jordan. Yeah. Hakeem Olajuwon was the number 1 pick. Charles Barkley also went in that draft. Mm-hmm. John Stockton was in that draft. Those are all-time great players at their position.
I don't disagree with you in any way about anything you just said.
1984 was the year. That was the year that should be number 1 on all lists of the greatest drafts of all time.
I don't agree with what you just said. Name me. Okay, so outside of the 4 players you just named,
yep.
Who was the next best player in that draft?
No clue. Wasn't Sam Bowie.
You had 2 other guys that were no, it wasn't Sam Bowie. You had 2 other guys that were named to all NBA teams one time: Alvin Robertson, Kevin Willis, and Otis Thorpe. End of message. Repeat the line. There is literally probably not 3 more names that you would have ever heard of: Michael Cage, Sam Perkins, Sam Bowie. That's it. There is nobody else in it.
Well, there were 2
ways. It's very, very good on the high side.
To me, there were 2 ways that you could have gone with that, Jake. 1984 was the number 1 selection. It was number 1 on my board. And that leaves me with my number 2, which is, of course, the other GOAT, 2003's NBA draft.
Neither one of you took my one. Neither one of you took my one. Okay. You finish talking, then I'll take over on that one.
LeBron James, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, the Miami threesome, were all taken in that draft, along with Carmelo Anthony, along with some really good role players.
Yep.
So, what's better than that, Jeremy?
I don't in any way disagree with you. Though you had my 2 and 3. All right, so Jake's was my 2. Yours was my 3. And I'm going to definitively say, just based off the fact that Tank has completely thrown derision at this, I'm going to say you're old enough to know better. It's 1996, and it's not even kind of close. Let's just go through the list of guys I got. Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, Steve Nash, Ray Allen, Antoine Walker, Jermaine O'Neal, Sharif Abdur-Rahim, Stephon Marbury, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, Peja Stojakovic, and I'm not even done with All-Stars yet. 60 picks. I'm not even done with guys that made All-Star teams yet. Oh, and by the way, I have a top 5 player of all time. Oh, by the way, I probably have 4 top 50 of all-time players. Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, Steve Nash, Ray Allen.
Potentially.
I have probably the greatest shooter that ever lived. A former MVP. Oh, yeah, and the number 1 pick in that draft was Allen freaking Iverson. I'm not trying to poo on either of yours. For me, it was 1, 2, 3. They're all close. But when he said there was only 2 ways you could go, I went, no! I'm going to have to take the LeBron year. When you said it, yay! I thought I had to take the LeBron year.
1996, that was a good year.
96 was insane. And I feel like we kind of glossed over 03 because I was so dumbfounded that I thought you being the older guy, you would go with the deeper of the classes.
Nah, not really. I mean, to me, it's all about high side. You don't get generational change the game players in every draft. And I get that Kobe Bryant was a generational change the game player.
Yeah, but we all 3 got a draft with that.
And you know, you can be on whatever side of that you want to, but Kobe Bryant's not LeBron James. And
no, but I think he's very close.
I'm not saying he's not close. The people go, oh, Kobe's better than LeBron. Stop it.
Yeah. No, Kobe's not better than LeBron, but, I mean, he does have more titles.
He does. Shaq had a lot to do with that.
I'm not just Pau Gasol.
Pau Gasol had a lot to do with that.
I'm not disputing that.
Yeah.
Not disputing that in any way.
I'm not knocking it. I mean, 1996, it was number 3 for me.
Okay, so outside of the players that he has already named, there were 5 guys that made All-Star games in 03. Chris Kaman, David West, Josh Howard, Mo Williams, Kyle Korver. Yeah, that for me doesn't quite resonate the same depth that mine did. Because I had all the guys that I just said. Actually, I was done with All-Stars. Never mind. Sorry. I'm just gonna throw out Derek Fisher's name because he was good at basketball too. Oof. He had some horrible misses in mine as well. All right. Now that I'm looking at it, it's not as shocking. I couldn't believe
every draft has misses.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I don't know that many of them have Marcus Camby, Lorenzen Wright, Kerry Kittle, Samaki Walker, Eric Dampier, Todd Fuller, and Vitaly Potapinko in front of Kobe Bryant.
I've never heard of any of those players.
Really? Several of them
96?
Several of them have incredible stories. We can talk about that in the happy hour after this here program.
All right.
I'm here at the turn. Is it even debatable for you? What should be next? Is there one that you're sitting over there going, man, I hope he doesn't take this?
No, not really.
Because I've got two that are just insanely close. You know what? I'm going to go with the higher side. And it was the year I was born, 1987. David Robinson, Scottie Pippen, Reggie Miller, Mark Jackson, Kevin Johnson, Reggie Lewis, Horace Grant. Yeah, that's pretty formidable.
That is pretty formidable.
Pretty solid.
And like I said, it was the year I was born.
Yeah. 1987 draft, it was pretty influential for the NBA.
Oh, no doubt.
The Admiral coming in, and then, of course, adding Scottie Pippen to the Chicago Bulls, which, of course, went on to be the greatest dynasty that we've ever seen in the NBA with him and Michael Jordan. I'm going with the most conspiracy theory draft of all time. It's 1985.
Yep.
The number one pick, Patrick Ewing. Remember the
frozen
cold
envelope.
The frozen envelope story that they swung that so the New York Knicks could get Patrick Ewing, who was the next great star coming into the NBA.
By the way, Kooky Madookies, if you want to have NBA draft conspiracies, that's one that makes sense. That a generational talent would go to the biggest media market in the country. If you want to have conspiracy theories, I get it, but if you believe that, the NBA is literally worse at covering up conspiracies than the U.S. government is. Last two generational talents, Victor Wembanyama, Zion Williamson. One went to San Antonio, which is a little itty-bitty market in Texas. The other went to the New Orleans Pelicans, where I think every single day there are people in New Orleans that learn, wait, we have an NBA team again? When did the Jazz come back?
You talk about deep drafts. Patrick Ewing goes number one. That draft also had the mailman, Karl Malone, one of the most underrated power forwards in the history of professional basketball. By the way, there were two other members of the Dream Team in that draft, Chris Mullin and Joe Dumars. This is also the draft that gave us Arvydas Sabonis, even though we didn't see him for another 10 years.
I was about to say he was otherwise detained.
Charles Oakley, Detlef Schrempf, who had his moments. Terry Porter, greatest Portland Trailblazer of all time. And, of course, the king of all dunkers, Spud Webb. 1985 draft is my second selection. Jake is in for two.
I was hoping Jeremy didn't take this one, but he didn't, so we're good.
Oh, okay.
Let's go with the
It took a turn.
2011 draft. We're talking about guys like Kyrie Irving, Kawhi Leonard, Klay Thompson, Timothy Butler, Kemba Walker, and Isaiah Thomas, and a guy that we were talking about, Tobias Harris, who could be dealt.
And Nikola Vucevic.
Yeah.
Who is probably I'm not saying he's my favorite player from that draft. Probably my favorite would be Jimmy Butler. But Kawhi Leonard's a head case. Kyrie Irving's a lunatic. Klay Thompson aged like a gallon of milk that you left sitting on a sidewalk on a summer day. Kemba Walker. You remember when he was a thing? Wasn't that fun? You remember? You remember?
Cardiac Kemba.
Charlotte Hornet fans? You remember? You remember when we had a player that made All-Star teams? Isaiah Thomas. You remember what I just said about Kemba Walker? I can say the same thing about yeah.
I mean, but you think about it, you look at the rings.
Oh yeah,
Kawhi.
Oh, that's a formidable class.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I like it. And so I have the turn here. I'm going to stay recent. And I'm going to go with 2009 NBA draft. Steph Curry, James Harden, Blake Griffin, DeMar DeRozan. And I really like Drew Holiday.
I wanted that one to come back.
Sorry.
If I hadn't been a fat, slovenly loser, that's the draft I would have been in. I was actually trying to draft only drafts that had years that pertained to me in some way.
Mm-hmm.
That's also the draft where the most famous player I ever played against was drafted. So
there you go.
Yeah, Steph Curry.
Steph Curry.
Not Seth Curry.
Yeah,
Seth Curry is not good.
Seth was sitting on the sidelines going, man, isn't my brother good?
Hey, Seth was the player of the year at Liberty University.
Let's go.
Big South player of the year. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. We're in the midst of the daily draft.
We got to teach the kid about taking the break.
Yeah.
Yeah, you give yourself a couple minutes to think. If you just go, oh, look, we're up against the break. I created that, and then Tank has used it to his advantage many times.
Absolutely. So we're going to take the break. It'll be my pick next for the third selection in the greatest NBA draft classes of all time. Draft night tomorrow night in Brooklyn.
Your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
An accident is causing delays on 40 westbound between Ashworth Road and Sugar Hill Road. 26 westbound is backed up between US 25 and 146. 240 westbound is seeing some congestion between US 70 and US 19. Slow traffic on I-40 westbound between Fines Creek Road and Gov Road. And the shoulder is closed due to road work on 26 eastbound between NC 191 and US 64. I'm Elena Vegso with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Blue Ridge Health. At Blue Ridge Health, everyone deserves access to top-notch, compassionate health care, no matter their insurance or income status. Keep your family healthy with updated immunizations for COVID-19, flu, chickenpox, and shingles. Health care for all people, including you. Learn more at brchs.com. Second half of the year looking busier than the first? Hire with Indeed. Their powerful platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates in one place. Sponsor a job and immediately get a short list of quality candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Why do you change your car's air filter? Because when it's clogged, it doesn't work. The same is true of your nose, the body's air filter. It's great at trapping allergens, dust, and viruses, but unless you clean it regularly, they can stay trapped, making you miserable. I'm Martin Hogue, inventor of Navage, the world's only nose cleaner with powered suction. Navage pulls saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, helping to flush out allergens, mucus, and germs. Here's a testimonial from a verified purchaser and a big Navage fan. Quote, I've been suffering for 30 years with chronic sinus infections and allergies. I stumbled across Navage. The suction is amazing. It cleared my sinus cavities better than anything I've tried before. Unquote. Navage has over 120,000 reviews with a 4.6-star average written by people who use Navage to breathe better, snore less, and feel healthier. Wash your body's air filter with Navage at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
You might not know this, but the Ingalls Bakery is actually a bakery. As in, we bake things. Really delicious things. Things like crusty breads just waiting for that scrumptious strawberry jam. Apple fritters to pair perfectly with that morning cup of coffee. Cakes for any occasion, customized to your precise standards. And did we mention the cookies? It's all in the bag. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
Back on ESPN Asheville on NBA Draft Eve. No program tomorrow here on ESPN Asheville, as we'll have Braves baseball for you. So we're doing all the draft coverage today. We've already talked about the draft storylines in the first hour of the program.
Got some trades.
Yep.
Kristaps Porzingis headed to the Boston Celtics.
Second hour of the program, we did our mock draft where the three of us traded back and forth, making all of the picks for tomorrow night's first round. And now, the daily draft, we're taking the best draft classes of all time. It all started out with Jake doing the sensible thing. You go 1984 draft with Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon. I went 2003 with LeBron James. Jeremy goes 1996 with the Kobe Bryant draft, Allen Iverson, all those dudes. Then he went on 1987, David Robinson, Scottie Pippen. I went 1985 with Patrick Ewing. That was the frozen envelope draft. Then, with two, before the break, Jake comes back with 2011, which was the Kyrie Irving draft, right?
Kawhi.
And Kawhi Leonard. 2009 was your last selection. All right. So that brings it back to me. Now, I get that we're looking at depth. We're looking at how many all-stars were in these classes. But I'm sort of a quality over quantity kind of a guy. And when I see a draft with two players who absolutely changed the NBA, and no, before you start thinking I'm going to go deep divey here back to 1965, I don't care. This is to me modern era greatest NBA drafts, and I'm going.
A, I need it specified that he said that. B, I just want to look directly in my camera and go, but Sam Lacey changed the game. Go somewhere. All right. Any league that I could have played in, because I'm 6'5" and I'd have been taller than virtually every player in the league, that doesn't count.
I agree. I will be going with the 1998 NBA draft.
That's the one I knew you weren't going to let me have.
Which gave us Paul Pierce, Dirk Nowitzki, and Vince Carter. Namely, the last two that I mentioned there, they changed the NBA. Dirk Nowitzki was the first international guy that we went, oh, God, this is going to change the game. He changed the way big men played the game. He was the first shooting power forward big man. Obviously, Vince Carter, while he didn't have the, scoring titles and all of that, this is the dude that made basketball cool again. He saved the NBA slam dunk contest and ruined it all at the same time.
Yeah, because now nobody can live up to him.
Absolutely.
Jake, please tell me you've seen Vince Carter.
Oh, I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's how I got introduced to Vince Carter, was watching the reruns of the dunk contest.
Yeah, 98 was the class that I definitively knew you weren't going to let me have because you're a jerk.
Mm-hmm. Also, Anton Jamison, obviously.
I
was
in that same curious
draft.
how long it was going to take for you to say that.
You couldn't. I mean, they were two of the greatest players in Carolina basketball history, and we all still think, what could have been had Jerry and Rashid and Anton and Vince all been on the same team? Because when Rashid and Jerry went pro, that the next year came in Anton and Vince. If those guys had been together, no doubt there would have been another national championship.
Oh, yeah. By the way, Rashid and Jerry Stackhouse, they were in 96.
Yes.
That draft that was just absolutely ridiculous. I would also be remiss if I didn't say yours was the one I was hoping for. It's also the one that had the worst number one overall pick of any draft we will talk about.
Yes, Michael Olowokandi.
Michael Olowokandi. Ugh. Okay. So I hate this game because you took the one I wanted. All right, 1992.
No!
Which was Shaquille O'Neal, Alonzo Mourning, Latrell Sprewell, Tom Gugliotta, and Christian Laettner. Of which Christian Laettner was not necessarily He was. I don't know what that noise was.
What that was.
I think Tank just drowned on air on his own anger.
That's what swallowing back FCC fines sounds like.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? Yeah, add that falafel thing. But having Shaquille O'Neal that high, and him just being I was thinking about this earlier. How many players have we ever been as sure of we are about Victor Wembanyama? Like, it's LeBron and Shaquille O'Neal, end of message, repeat the line, right?
Sure.
That's the only two I can think of.
Yeah.
I mean, LeBron was just because we had been inundated with his high school games. And Shaquille was...
I would say Tim Duncan was probably in that boat, too. I mean,
yeah,
wasn't he back-to-back consensus National Player of the Year in college?
He was.
I mean, he was going to be the next big thing. He was going to be David Robinson 2.0, and then lo and behold, he goes to San Antonio where he teamed up with him.
And he wound up being better than him, which probably a lot of people didn't see. I don't want to go super far back because it's just not good. I'm conflicted. I either want to take 1979 because it has Magic Johnson.
Okay.
But I know Tank's not going to do it.
Nope.
Is there one that you actually feel good about?
There's one.
There's one that I think might be a sneaky pick that I really hope you guys don't take.
There's one that I feel really good about because it's got several players that I really like.
1999. None of them were stars, but a lot of them were all-stars.
Mm-hmm.
Elton Brand, Steve Francis, Baron Davis, Wally Zerbiak, Richard Hamilton, Sean Marion, Ron Artest, Andrea Karolinko, and Manu Ginobili. That hits depth to the highest extreme.
Yes,
There's just not there's not that guy.
There's not the premier.
I am really curious which one you two are talking about.
I swear if he takes it.
For me, it's 2014.
Oh, my God.
Nikola Jokic, the greatest second-round pick of all time. You had Joel Embiid at the top of that draft as well. Andrew Wiggins was the number 1 overall pick. And that didn't
it's
work,
ironic you said that. Wiggins was the other one I was looking for.
Yeah, while that didn't work in Minnesota, I mean, he's had a pretty good second act with the Golden State Warriors as a throw-in piece or a complimentary piece to the Splash Brothers and Draymond Green.
So I considered that one. It's just such dog water after you get away from it. It's Embiid, Embiid, Jokic, Julius Randle, Zach LaVine.
Yep. Marcus Smart, NBA Defensive Player of the Year. Come on.
Who can't shoot? Woo. Awesome. Okay, I'll give you that one. Andrew Wiggins, who may be the biggest NBA bust of my lifetime.
Anthony Bennett. Come on.
Nobody thought Anthony Bennett was like LeBron James too. We thought Andrew Wiggins was the greatest Canadian player that ever lived. And we talked about him for 3 solid years.
Is he not? Is he not the greatest Canadian player?
I mean,
Steve Nash.
I don't think that's particularly all that close. But we thought there were people that thought Andrew Wiggins was going to be LeBron 2.0. Oddly enough, one good GM decision that he made. Hey, we don't need Andrew Wiggins. You should trade him for Kevin Love.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was the stupidest thing in the history of time. Turns out LeBron actually, for once, knew what he was talking about.
All right, so I take 2014 with Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid. Jake, finish it off.
You took my pick.
Oh.
So now you're going 2019 with Ja and Zion. Let's go. Oh,
no. Nope.
That one aged like a poo in a punch bowl, didn't it?
Yeah, well, guess what? I know you guys were talking crap about taking drafts from before even you guys were born.
Oh, he's going in the before times.
He's going
oh, my
deep.
gosh. I'm going to have to do it, but just give me 1956.
Oh, my Lord.
Bill Russell. Casey Jones.
Back when they had to whittle the ball out of wheat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, half these players are pretty good on 2K, so I guess.
I love it.
I love that was his.
Applaud.
I love that was his explanation. I've never seen them play ever. They're all old enough to be my grandfather. They're awesome on 2K. Jake, I You just become one of my favorite people as time goes on.
No, but literally though, like
you got several Hall of Famers in that class. A lot of NBA championships.
A lot of rings.
Obviously, Bill Russell, he accounts for 11 of them by himself.
Yes.
Casey Jones was also with the Boston Celtics during that time, or for some of those years anyway. So he's probably got another 6 rings. So if we're counting rings, maybe that is the all-time winningest NBA draft ever. I wasn't going to do that, though.
The one that I couldn't stop staring at was 79 with Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Sidney Moncrief, Bill Laimbeer, marvelous Mark Eaton. I know that was the red. I don't care.
If we had to do the UDFA thing where you take another one, I probably would have gone 2017 with Jason Tatum and Donovan Mitchell. So I think at some point we'll be talking about that class.
That's another one.
Bam Adebayo and De'Aaron Fox. Okay. Lonzo, not so much.
Lonzo may never play again.
Markelle Fultz, no.
Did anybody take 2012?
No.
That would probably be my undrafted free agent as well, with Dame, your boy Bradley Beal, Draymond, Chris Middleton.
Going through this process, you know what it's taught me?
What's that?
If you have a really good draft, you might have 8 guys in it that matter.
Absolutely.
If it's a really bad draft, you might have 5 guys in it that matter. So, yes, that is a great push for all of you to watch all 58 selections of the 2023 NBA Draft.
I'm going to say the same thing to you that Jeremy says about betting on baseball. If you watch more than 10 minutes of this draft, or the first 2 picks of the draft, I guess I'll say, because that'll take half an hour. If you watch more than that, you need a meeting.
Our guys from the Dude Takes podcast are live streaming the draft. So if you want to hear somebody actually make jokes, as opposed to, Jay Billis and just playing the Jay Billis drinking game, which is what I will be doing, which is why Friday I'm probably going to do the show with my sunglasses on. Because in this class, every time he says wingspan, I have to do a furball.
A furball?
A fearball.
Oh, a fireball.
Yeah, I might.
I thought that was.
I might catch on.
I honestly thought that was some kind of a new shot that I had never heard of before.
That's probably what I'm going to be calling it by the end.
Furball.
I'll be at about pick 17. Please, Jack, just don't say wingspan again. I can't do it anymore, and it's the only reason I'm still watching this.
You are in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Flood watch through tomorrow afternoon. We are tracking the rains on weather radar, covering up the mountains of western North Carolina, East Tennessee. They're drifting to the west. And it looks like our unusual early summer weather patterns continue for the rest of the work week. Brighter weather returns to Asheville this weekend. 59 degrees with rain showers and a flood watch tonight. Rain showers tomorrow. Heavy downpours possible. High 70. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Expect more stop than go on 240 westbound between US 70 and US 19. 26 westbound is seeing some delays between US 29 and NC 146. Some congestion on I-40 eastbound between NC 209 and US 19. And the shoulder is closed on 26 eastbound due to road construction between NC 191 and US 64. I'm Melina Begso with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by STEM.
Humans can do a lot of amazing things. Fighting bugs? Ew, a bug, get it! Isn't one of them. STEM is powered by active ingredients found in plants to fight off bugs safely and effectively when used as directed. STEM, rooted in nature, optimized by science.
What's up? It's a Target trend alert. New swim has just arrived and it's sunny weather approved.
If you're into bikinis or one pieces, high waists or cutouts, they're the perfect combo of trendy, flattering, and affordable.
That's right. And there are so many cool styles with gorgeous details. These suits have macrame, crochet, wood beads, pretty shells, and more. Totally a luxe for less vibe.
Yeah, so dive in and shop this Target trend without the spend.
Can I help? Who's next?
Tom's part-time barista is now a full-time actor.
Oh, you didn't hear. He got the part on Broadway. Yeah, great for him, bad for our finicky cold brew tap.
Now he needs a star understudy to fill his open role.
And he made the best grande triple shot with oat milk caramel.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
You might not know this, but the Ingalls Bakery is actually a bakery. As in, we bake things, really delicious things. Things like crusty breads just waiting for that scrumptious strawberry jam. Apple fritters to pair perfectly with that morning cup of coffee. Cakes for any occasion, customized to your precise standards. And did we mention the cookies? It's all in the bag. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Spring in the South means the return of Atlanta Braves baseball.
There's a liner out towards center field. It will lay down. Here comes Ronald. Braves win it.
The 2023 Braves load up for another huge season.
The Braves play here on ESPN Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy, and it's time for the most important message of the day.
Don't do crimes!
And I had the option of taking us back to California again today, but I mean, because there's crimes all the time in California.
I have a California crime story.
But I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to go with a story that's a little more local, as we're going to go to our neighboring state.
Oh, which one?
Tennessee.
Sweet.
The state of Tennessee, where a doctor has had to surrender his medical license after an investigation into his actions during the pandemic.
Uh-oh.
So
did he lead to the second wave?
Robert Coble is his name, and he was doing that thing that some doctors have done or did during the pandemic, where they were giving out waivers for the coronavirus vaccine. Right? Remember when it was required that you had the vaccine to go out in public, but you could get the waiver if a doctor signed it and all these things. Well, he wasn't just giving them away to patients. He was selling them online. He was selling them for $139 a piece, and you could get a COVID-19 vaccine waiver signed by a physician. Now, the funny part about this is how he got caught. So apparently the rumors started to spread, hey, there's this doctor over here in Knoxville that'll give you a waiver. All you got to do is give him some cash. And a reporter picked up on it. And when the TV reporter went to dig into this and do a little research, what did she do? She did the smart thing, and she decided, well, I'm just going to go and I'm going to see if I can register for one of these COVID vaccine waivers. She didn't do it under her own name. She didn't do it under a family member's name. Well, maybe loosely a family member, because one of the people, or one of the things, I guess we could say, that got a coronavirus vaccine waiver from the doctor was her Labrador retriever named Charlie.
Sweet.
You didn't have to give any identifying information. You could just get it in the name of whoever. So
I just hope she got it under the full legal name of Charlie the dog.
Is this what Antonio Brown used when he had his fake?
Probably so.
Yeah.
It might have been the same website. It is not known exactly how much money this guy made off of selling the waivers, but we do know that it happened in several states. The federal government is involved. He's been forced to turn over his medical license in the state of Tennessee. so he can no longer practice medicine legally there. But he was also selling them across state lines in specifically Maine and Washington for some reason. I mean, because Tennessee, nobody cared, right?
No.
I mean, we shut down pretty well here in North Carolina, and Tennessee went, we'll do it for a week. And then after that, we're just hunky-spunky back to normal.
Boys, we are the capital of Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey, and we will burn it out with that lovely liquid. My story comes from California. It's about a person named Shea Garibaldi. Owned 2 locations of Taqueria Garibaldi. See what he did there?
Yeah.
Put his last name into the restaurant.
It's weird that he bought a business named after himself. It's kismet.
Creativity at its finest. Well, apparently in his own mind, he had a problem with workers who were late for work, stealing money for the restaurant, or had, quote, bad intentions towards their employer. One would think maybe you'd have a staff meeting. Maybe you'd say, hey, what could I do to improve the working experience so maybe you would be better employees for me? Instead, he went slightly different route, hired a priest, put a confessional in his restaurant, and convinced his employees to confess their sins under threat of immigration.
Oh.
There's another layer to this. It wasn't a priest. He hired an actor to fake that he was a priest and convinced his employees to tell their sins to the priest.
Okay.
Fake priest. He has now been ordered to pay $140,000 in back wages and damages to his employees. I've had some creative things that I've done with employees. Tank, I've told you this before. I had a rule. If you had to call in sick, all you had to do is make me laugh. 3 people did it. 2 of the ways it was done can never be said on this show, ever, under any circumstances. The 3rd one called in dead and rambled on for 2.5 minutes of how he would be fine by Monday. You can infer where that went because I'm not going to go there, but it was real funny.
Real funny.
This guy, bad business owner. And do you know how he got caught?
How's that?
Because the Catholic Diocese of Sacramento, which is the area that this took place, found that there was no connection between the fake priest and the diocese, because one of the employees went, this priest doesn't really seem like a priest, which makes me think he hired some guy like me to go, hey, what'd you do? I don't think that's how confessional works, Father. Okay. My son, what did you do? Yeah, still doing it wrong. You're still just bad, not good.
Give me 13 Hail Marys and 5 push-ups. Move on.
Let's go. Get me a beer out of the refrigerator in there. Oh, wait, that's not how this works either. Uh-oh. I boo-booed this bad. They didn't give me a whole lot of instructions when I took this job. You think he hired the guy on Craigslist? Need somebody with a what's that thing called? Collar and a priest garb. Only requirement. Not actually required to be a priest.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. Off-season files continue here in the Sportsocracy. We just started this afternoon with the Atlanta Falcons. Next up, the Buffalo Bills. How has their off-season treated them, and can they finally pay off on the expectations of getting past the AFC Championship game and into, and God forbid, winning a Super Bowl? That's next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Expect heavy traffic on 26 heading westbound between US 70 and US 25. 240 westbound is backed up between 70 and 19. 26 westbound is seeing some delays between US 25 and 146. Slow traffic on I-40 eastbound between NC 209 and US 19, as well as some slow traffic on I-40 westbound between US 19 and NC 1200. I'm Elena Vegso with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's Late Night, open until midnight or later. Wendy's is open until midnight or later, which means all your favorite menu items are up later too. The Baconator still tastes just as juicy and bacony at night. So listen to that craving and turn in for the night at a Wendy's drive-thru. Hours may vary at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Get your tickets now
at AXS.com
for our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Coming back to Las Vegas.
2 nights.
September 22nd and 23rd.
1 stage.
At T-Mobile Arena.
Streaming live. Only on Hulu.
This is the iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Buy your tickets for our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival now.
Before they sell out.
At AXS.com.
That's AXS.com.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else, and we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. Get started today at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
At Ingles Weather, we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cot?
The NFL offseason continues. We talked a lot about the NBA today, and I mean it's all well and good. Tomorrow night's draft night. You've had your fill of that. Let's get back to football, please, dear God.
Thank you.
Exactly. So, off-season files continue with the Buffalo Bills.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Except this year, which will be my 2024 NFL champion, New York Jets.
So the Buffalo Bills offseason. How do you feel about the moves that they made?
Well, I mean, you lost Edmonds, which I mean, I get it. Chicago came in with a very large offer. He was very good last year, but I don't know that it was necessary. I don't know that they had to go down that rabbit hole. There are a lot of good free agent linebackers out there on the open market. I still feel like they need one. I don't think they're going in with Terrell Bernard as their second off-ball linebacker or Tyrell Dodson. Neither one of those strike me as 3 down guys in this league. But other than that, you didn't really lose anything that bothers me. I mean, Devin Singletary. Do I care?
No.
Not really. He's fine.
Roger Saffold.
Isaiah McKenzie?
He wants me to say yes because he's a Colts fan.
You're not really devastated by that.
No.
None of the losses really devastate you.
And then for me, you look at what they added.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love Dalton Kincaid.
Yep.
I think he's going to play a lot in the slot. That gives you another legit weapon. And gives him the opportunity. I mean, Tank, what is my rule about rookie tight ends?
Never trust them, fantasy-wise.
Never trust them, period, because most of them come into the league and look like they forgot how to play in the offseason between when they were drafted and when they started playing in the NFL. But the front four is still really formidable. I think the secondary is better than people make it out to be. The biggest question for the two of you on the Buffalo Bills is what?
I would probably go with who's going to fill the 3 as the wide receiver.
I believe, from everything I have heard, that will be predominantly Dalton Kincaid.
Mm-hmm.
He will play as the slot guy. They have there's other guys on the roster. They've got Khalil Shakir, Trent Sherfield, Deontay Hardy. For me, it's probably a 3 by committee. So I don't necessarily know that it's one guy. But I understand especially in the league we're in now, getting to that third spot and going, ew, it could be a bunch of dudes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little unsettling. Mm-hmm. Tank, for you, it would be what?
It has to be wide receiver, but I would say also, I just don't know what that offensive line is going to be like. That was your biggest problem last year in the playoff run.
And you brought back Spencer Brown, who I'm not sure could block me.
Right.
If he got his hands on me, he could, but it'd take him about 17 seconds to do so.
I like the fact that they took Osiris Torrance in the draft. That's absolutely going to help out the offensive line. But I looked at the Dalton Kincaid pick and I went, I get it. He's a usable piece. I'm not trying to knock him as a player. But I really wanted you to come up with a way to get a tackle there, and I realized there wasn't one in the draft worth taking at that point.
No.
So I understand you were in a position you did what you felt you had to do, and okay. Could there have been a trade up? I don't know. But then the rest of it, nothing screams to me they make a step forward. Nothing about their offseason screams to me that they are going to be able to get past Cincinnati or Kansas City. Von Miller coming back, yeah, that's going to help.
Certainly helps.
Adding Leonard Floyd to that defensive line is something that's kind of underrated as well.
Not bad. I mean, you're going to be able to throw pass rush at it.
Well, I mean, this is so PFF, their criteria is you have to play a certain number of snaps to qualify to be ranked at your position. Do you know how many defensive linemen the Buffalo Bills have that were ranked last year?
How many?
11. That is quite formidable. So, I mean, the defensive line doesn't make me nervous. I think the pass rush will be back. It was very good with Von Miller. I think the secondary is fine. I have a huge question about this team that neither one of you have said.
Okay.
I'm not sure Sean McDermott's a very good coach. And now that he doesn't have Leslie Frazier, I'm not sure that doesn't get exposed. My biggest fear is that this defense has been held together with duct tape, and that duct tape was Leslie Frazier. And now that he's taking a year away, I'm much more nervous about the defense than I am the offense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been critical of McDermott for quite some time.
Right.
This team's too talented to have lost in the ways that they have in the playoffs. And now you look around and just everybody around you is getting better. I think you're going to struggle against teams specifically that have really good tight ends or can really attack you over the middle, because outside of Matt Milano, there's not much there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the position I'd be looking to attack. Because you were talking about the offensive line, I don't think it takes up into game one before Osiris Torrance is playing on that line. And then you add that guy to the inside of that line, and outside of Spencer Brown, I have way less questions than I did before.
Yep.
I think another question that not a lot of people are bringing up is who's going to be the second running back for this team. I mean, you got James Cook, Damian Harris, Latavius Murray, Naeem Hines.
I don't know that there will be one. I think this is the definition of a committee.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've got 4 vet guys that do pretty different things. I mean, James Cook and Naheem Hines are close but different. Latavius Murray and Damian Harris are close but different. So I know when I just finished the AFC East on my projections for the Mullet Man of the Canada and Ultimate Draft Kit. I don't think I had a running back for the Buffalo Bills that had more than like 125 carries the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a gross split. And I mean, it could be a 4 games in, James Cook is clearly better than the others, and they all become ancillary pieces. I'm not sure that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I feel like needs to be talked about with the Buffalo Bills is Dalvin Cook and DeAndre Hopkins have come out and said they want to play together. If that's the case, I can't figure out a team that would do that other than Buffalo. Now, they're not going to pay DeAndre what he wants.
I was going to say, how do you make that work with the money?
Don't know. I don't know, and I don't know that there is a way to make it work. But I have racked my brain trying to figure out why Dalvin Cook would say that unless there was a place that made sense, and this is the only team in the NFL that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City doesn't have the carries for Dalvin Cook. New England, I can't envision Bill making a financial commitment to a running back. He's been a while since he's done that.
Right.
Tennessee doesn't make any sense because are you going to put Dalvin Cook behind Derrick Henry?
What about Miami?
I can't believe they would pay another receiver. You're already paying Cedric Wilson like $9 or $10 million a year.
Right.
So now you're going to get into let's say he took a great discount playing Miami. So between your 4 starting receivers, you're playing, what, $40-some-odd million a year? Or it's actually more than that now that I think about it. I just can't find a place that makes sense. So I think that's at least something to keep an eye on, is that is a possibility because the only team that makes sense.
Another thing to keep an eye on is, I don't know if you guys saw in the news, but Josh Allen is on the cover of Madden 24. And that could be a curse, but it's still hitting Antonio Brown pretty hard. So we haven't had a Madden curse in a long time.
Well, I mean, you've also
it's
got
the longest Madden hangover ever.
Well, I mean, you've also got Josh Allen on the prowl for the first time in his NFL career.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he'd been with his high school, college girlfriend forever,
Mm-hmm.
and now he's being spotted at hot spots around New York with some actress that I don't. She's probably been in something that I wouldn't watch if you tied me to a chair and forced me to. It's something to think about because Josh Allen is the straw that stirs this drink. So if there is anything but full commitment from him,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to go Kyle Allen, Matt Barkley for even a week or two, the AFC is too competitive. The Jets have gotten better. The Dolphins have gotten better. The Patriots are still here. You know, it's not like they've gone away. They are still coached by the same by the same group that has haunted your nightmares for years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you're just going to run through them. I have legit fears with Buffalo, but I almost feel like the ebb and flow of this. Now we've gone so far down this rabbit hole that I'm getting back on Buffalo. Of they're the forgotten team. It seems like Cincinnati and Kansas City and the Jets and Miami, every team in the AFC seems to be trendier than Buffalo. And what have I said 1,000 times about when the public goes one way, you go the other.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting to the point that's where I'm at with Buffalo.
This is the Sportsocracy, and we are on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400, but not tomorrow. We will not be with you tomorrow as it will be Braves baseball here in our slot, but we will be back with you for a Friday edition, 3 o'clock. We will see you then.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Flood watch through tomorrow afternoon. We are tracking the rains on weather radar, covering up the mountains of western North Carolina, East Tennessee, the drifting to the west. And it looks like our unusual early summer weather patterns continue for the rest of the work week. Brighter weather returns to Asheville this weekend. 59 degrees with rain showers and a flood watch tonight. Rain showers tomorrow. Heavy downpours possible. High 70. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Expect heavy traffic on 26 heading west between US 70 and US 25, as well as between US 25 and 146. 240 westbound is backed up between US 70 and US 19. Slow traffic on I-40 eastbound between NC 209 and US 19. And I-40 westbound is also seeing some congestion between US 19 and NC 1200. I'm Elena Vegso with your Time Saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Tyson Furniture.
At Tyson Furniture, we have a huge selection of furniture, honest values, and great service. We are a big store, and Black Mountain has wonderful restaurants and interesting shops to explore. Visit us at Tyson Furniture in Black Mountain, where beautiful homes begin.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Spring in the South means the return of Atlanta Braves baseball.
There's a liner out toward center field. It will lay down. Here comes Ronald. Braves win it.
The 2023 Braves load up for another huge season.
The Braves play here on ESPN Asheville.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
All right, and welcome into the happy hour, the extended happy hour here of the Sportsocracy. It's so NBA draft coming up tomorrow night, and other than Victor Wembanyama and finding out where the Charlotte Hornets are going to go with their number 2 pick, I do not care about this NBA draft.
Well, I mean, Brandon Miller's he's a good player. I don't think he's great. Scoot Henderson's got an upside. And then you got to find beauty in the eye of the beholder. One of these guys is going to hit. I mean, we just talked about the best draft classes of all time. Invariably, there's a guy that hits that goes outside the top 10. There's always one. Who it's going to be, it becomes a little more difficult to figure out.
Right.
Do either of you have a guy that's not a top 5 that you think could be that guy?
Could be a good NBA player?
Well, I mean, one of them's going to be an all-star. We went through every draft class, or at least I went through them to make sure I wasn't forgetting one.
Mm-hmm.
And practically every class has had somebody out of the top 10 that wound up being an all-star.
I mean, other than the guy who takes his fashion tips from intern Jake, Matthew Mayer, I think.
Oh, my God. Come on, man.
What? He's upset with me because I keep making the Adam Morrison references.
We have come to the realization that intern Jake does look like a modern-day Adam Morrison.
I just don't see it at all because I don't have the bangs. I'm not.
Well, he didn't always have the bangs. That was more of a late in his public conscious thing.
See, this is a Minshew mustache, and he has one of those just like scary murderer mustaches.
I mean, there's a fine line to walk there.
Oh,
I mean, it's either Tom Selleck good or it's somebody to catch a predator bad. I mean, it's
no
just.
doubt. Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, you don't. That's a fine line that is really difficult to navigate.
And I will say this. I mean, as a 20-year-old man, Jake, you are way ahead of me in the facial hair game.
Oh no,
I was
there's
not
more.
able to grow a mustache until just this past year, and so
who wants
I'm
to
saying
tell him?
You're already there. You're ahead of me on that, but you're not at Tom Selleck level yet.
Do you think that thing above your lip now is currently a mustache? Or?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. We have different definitions of the word mustache.
But what? Because mine doesn't hang down on my lips like yours does.
It's a go-to. When
I can't do mustache. I did it one time. I shaved my beard off one time. And, I can't pull off mustache. I'm not allowed to be within 100 feet of an elementary school if I'm wearing an elementary or a mustache.
But you have a mustache.
No, I have a beard that just so happens to rope in a.
What would you call that?
Well, mustache was by itself. It's
upper lip hair. I mean, I don't know what else you would call it.
It's a mustache.
I mean, it's all
just because it's part of a goatee doesn't mean it's not a mustache. Just because it's part of your beard doesn't mean you don't have a mustache.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that way. I gotta comb my mustache. No, you have a beard. Like you have full face hair. I mean, the beard goes with it. To me, that's all encompassed in beard.
Okay.
Because you go chin strap if you want to go 2002, I watched too many Backstreet Boys. Yeah. That's the thing that goes under your.
Don't ever do that.
That's the worst look of all time.
Oh, I know.
I did for many years.
We know you did.
Yeah, I did for many years. It was awful.
That's such a bad look. Who was it? Like Limp
Bizkit? It was the cool
Hold on.
look. It was the cool look.
Hold on. I just want to make sure. A man with a mustache just told me that was a bad look. I am.
Hey, look at that. The mustache is coming back after Top Gun. You got to be honest there.
Oh, no, it's not coming back. You're probably the only person I know that could pull that off that I didn't make fun of relentlessly.
That's okay. Well, I walked into the.
Put it this way. Josh Michael grew one. The guy that's in the studio next to us. I didn't say anything to his face because I didn't see him because he doesn't come in the studio. I, on a daily basis, went, that has got to go. Must immediately. Yeah, mustache is that's a no-go for me.
Yeah. Anyway,
it does work for you though.
I have no idea. I'm horrible at projecting NBA talent. I mean, I can remember looking at Kawhi Leonard going in the draft and going, who the hell is that guy and why are you taking him that high in the draft? And then lo and behold, he's he's that dude.
Yeah,
like
he's
two-time
he's
NBA
good.
champion. Like he's pretty damn good. So
he's also.
And
a
I
cookie
also thought
McDucky.
Greg Oden was the second coming. So
I thought Kevin Durant was too thin to be in the NBA.
Absolutely.
I thought he was going to get pushed around like a small child.
as did I. So when I look at this year's draft class and I go, is there a guy that could be an all-star? Sure. Could I name him right now? No. Because it's probably going to end up being Ryan Rupert.
No, those mid-tier European guys almost never work out. Nick Smith's the one I'm locked in on. I don't think he was coached well. And I believe he's going to fall just enough to go to one of those good teams where he doesn't have to play much of a role early and he can really round into his game. I like Jet Howard a lot. I mean, obviously I like Tracy Jackson Davis probably better than most because I don't think most would have taken him at 24.
Second round, I could see like Terquavion Smith
I like
making an
Terquavion
all-star game.
But again, no one's really high on him. That's the
He's
problem.
so little. He's just so little. And all he does is score.
Mm-hmm.
Virtually none of those guys ever pan out. I am waiting for my to be vindicated on Jalen Slauson. Because I said going into the tournament, he's an NBA player. Do you know how many teams he's worked out with?
Oh, a lot of them.
Like 20 of them.
Yeah.
Which means I feel pretty good. One of them is going to take him or give him a very priority spot on their summer league squad.
One team that is pretty high on him that I do know is the Memphis Grizzlies, and they have like 8 second-round draft picks.
Yes.
So he could very well end up being a second-round draft pick.
My biggest takeaway of, Jake and I have been doing, we did quite a bit of NBA draft prep today. Yeah. And Jake figured out something that I'm personally pretty proud of.
Let's talk about it then. Everybody's talking about Grady Dick going to Orlando. And you think about that backcourt, how legendary would it be to have Suggs, Dick in your backcourt?
Hey, maybe they work out a trade with the Chicago Bulls. Go sign D'Angelo, have Suggs, Dick, and Balls.
Like, literally, though.
That's to me, that's a legendary backcourt that no one could ever stop.
But all jokes aside,
it would be very satisfying if for nothing else.
Yeah,
leave it up to us to get the dick sucking joke in there.
Yeah, 100%. We did an extra 15 minutes just to make sure we got that on air. You know why? Because it's what we do here. Because outside of the kid, we're just two big dumb animals that talk
100%.
about sports.
100%.
That's what we do.
But, I mean, all jokes aside, the Grady Dick, phenomenal shooter. If he does go to Orlando, I think not only will the name fit, but I think he will fit there as well.
I'm going to go
And
ahead and
then he
tell
hits
you,
him with that magic dick.
Dick fits there.
Boy.
Dick fits in Orlando.
100%. Yeah, he totally does. I literally, you mark my words, if the Orlando Magic, you remember those presidential shirts we came out with our names in the year? I will make another one of those for Suggs Dick 24. You mark my, it will be on our website before the draft is over.
I would wear that. 100%.
I'll put their first names really little just so people can't get angry.
Nice. Can't wait for the merch to hit the merch store.
Oh, no doubt. We have so many ideas there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have a lot of execution because I'm the executioner.
It's weird. Look, I think out of the three of us, I would be willing to wager that intern Jake probably watches more college basketball than the rest of us.
No doubt.
I mean, as far as immersing yourself into the game and knowing who's coming up, I just still find it very tough as a college basketball fan, because Jake and I were having this discussion. If you laid it out in front of us, here's your TV watching night. You can watch college basketball or the NBA. It's college 10 times out of 10.
100%.
Never going to watch the NBA over college basketball, for me. I'm that way, and still, I don't know half of the damn guys in the draft.
Yeah, I mean,
because they're all freshmen, and I only got to see a little portion of them.
And that's what I think the biggest problem with the NBA is. And it's not the NBA's fault. It really isn't. But when you're growing up and you're attached to these guys who are...
This is your time saver traffic on the
We ain't
new
done that in a while.
ESPN Asheville.
Yeah, it's been a minute
It's
since
been a
I've
minute.
almost peed my pants on air.
Can I go back in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So when you're growing up and you've been attached to these guys for 4 years, you're like, oh, we're talking about guys like Julian Strother or Jalen Pickett, Seth Lundy, for example, or even a guy like we just saw in the SoCon tournament, Jake Stevens. People who are dominating their division, their conference, they're fun to watch. Where are they going to play?
Well, you said this is not the NBA's fault. This is 100% the NBA's fault. The NBA had a chance to fix this years ago, and instead they took the easy money of, well, we'll get 4 extra people to show up for G League Ignite games because we'll throw guys like Scoot Henderson and the Thompson brothers and do the Overtime Elite thing, and nobody watches it. Nobody even knows where to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But Adam Silver has shown in a very short period of time that he's just not very good at this. And he doesn't get that he had one of the most ready-made filler systems in the history of sports, because you got 3 unadulterated weeks of the NCAA tournament after the football season, and he went, you know what? I'd rather have the G League Ignite coached by Jason Hart, which never made any sense. They could have fixed this rule years ago. Kids can come straight out of high school, or you spend 3 years in college. Your choice. You'd have had a mass exodus of 18-year-old high school seniors, and that's fine. This is a capitalist system. You are the one that is responsible for your own decisions. Go make that decision. I could care less. But once you come to college, you're here 3 years because this system is so broken, and this draft is proof positive of why.
Mm-hmm.
You should feel really good about 3 guys here. Every NBA team that I have any affiliation with, they all feel like there are 3 all-stars in this draft. Outside of that, it's a lot of lottery tickets. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Victor Wembanyama because he's 7'5", and I'll be honest with you, that's the only reason we care about him. If you told me there was a 6'11" center prospect out of France that was the greatest thing since sliced crepes, you wouldn't care.
Alperen Sengun. Didn't we already do that?
He wasn't that kind of prospect. He's good, but not like that. The fact he's 7'5" and he's kind of a carnival act is why anybody cares. Outside of that, they don't. And it's just, to me, it's proof positive that Adam Silver he's just not very good at this.
Mm-hmm.
And under his leadership, the NBA is going to atrophy every single year. And until they fix that, that's going to be a problem. Because I got news for you. If you think this draft is unattractive, wait till you look at next year's.
Really?
We're going to be talking about Bronny James. You mark my words, that will be the biggest name in next year's draft. Because he's going to go to USC. He's probably going to score some points. And he's LeBron's kid.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, do either of you even know who the top handful of prospects are?
I just clicked on it to see if I even could tell you. The number 1 prospect on the NBA draft.net website for next year, Zachary Saker.
From France.
Researcher. That's
Mateus Bacelis, who's going to the G League Ignite.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Holland, who's going to G League Ignite. Richer, who you said out of France. Adi Mara out of Spain. Aaron Bradshaw at Kentucky. That's your top 5. You will see one of those guys between now and the draft next year. And there are guys that could get into that, but the chances are not real high.
Mm-hmm.
I think somebody to look out for is definitely Kyle Filipowski, because that was somebody who they were talking about maybe potentially coming in this year. I think Filipowski, if he has another big year at Duke, that he could definitely be a lottery pick next year.
And I don't know that the kid that shoots well and puts up rebounding numbers. I mean, the mock I'm looking at compares him to Keith Van Horn. I mean, is that going to move a number? Because I'm going to say no. And you just do this year over year over year, where the NBA, the only thing that is ever going to move the needle is if you get an absolute phenom. Zion Williamson, guy that we watch, comes into college basketball, absolutely tears it up. Or you get a freak show.
Mm-hmm.
Of which I'm not trying to throw shade at Wembanyama, but the fact that you're 7'5" is why we care. So it is comical to me to watch the NBA, Major League Baseball, hockey, virtually everything else. I mean, the MLS, you don't really have much of a choice because it's soccer in America.
Mm-hmm.
So It's never going to be quote-unquote mainstream. You're never going to do a number like the NBA did in the 90s. But to watch these sports atrophy their fan base by just making absolutely mind-numbingly stupid decisions. I cannot figure out who said, G League Ignite's a great idea. Let's put a bunch of 18-year-old kids that we don't think are ready to play in our league up against a bunch of grown men who are on their last shot to get in the NBA. I'm sure they'll develop that way.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see how stupid that sounds when I say it that way? Yeah, Adam Silver's never heard it that way. In the, 4 years we've been doing this? Never heard it that way.
Yep.
And it's why you are where you are.
Because I don't know, maybe they look at it and go, what's the difference between the international guys that come in? Well, they have professional experience. They've been playing against pros for years.
Mm-hmm.
So let's have these guys play against pros.
They also play team basketball.
Absolutely. It's a completely different style of basketball. These guys are brought up in the AAU card-carrying captain of team gets mine era. And, of course, they don't know how to play defense.
Well, I mean, you also got to realize
these
guys,
offenses.
Some of these guys are in a system for 6 or 7 years before they come over here.
Mm-hmm.
That's years of putting in the time to develop a guy to help what we're doing. These G League Ignite guys show up, and they're like, well, I'm here for 4 months.
Yep.
You think a coach gives a rat's ass about them? No. I don't care. I'm afraid I'm going to get fired. I'm coaching in the G League. I'm obviously not that good at this.
Right.
If I was... Well, and I shouldn't say that because you do get some young guys that coach in the G League and then they wind up in the NBA. Mostly you get retread hires of guys that have been assistant coaches, then they got fired, now they're in the G League. And it's just, it's confounding to me. The NFL draft gets 51 weeks of my attention. The NBA draft gets 1.
Mm-hmm.
I do just as many hits on the NBA as I do the NFL. I just don't care.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you brought up Major League Baseball because as the years go by, that's kind of how I view the NBA draft. It's more like the MLB draft more and more every year because I don't know any of these guys, and I don't know if any of them are going to pan out.
Well, everybody makes the assumption that the steroid era killed baseball. No, steroid era didn't kill baseball. Opportunities hurt it. That hurt it because the College World Series was actually a thing in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So you watched a guy like Will Clark or
Roger Clemens,
Rafael Palmeiro. I mean, there were a bunch of them that played. So you at least halfway knew who they were. So these guys come in. You have the ability to get excited about a kid. Well, that waned because, I mean, in 2023, we're not going to watch college baseball. We're not. We don't watch college basketball. We're not watching college baseball.
Mm-hmm.
But then I look at the NBA and I go, all you had to do is not crash the car. That was it. You had this ready-made because you've got so many people that are Carolina fans, Duke fans, Kentucky, UConn, all these blue blood programs. And now you look at the 2023 draft and just look at the highest end prospects. All right, so I'm taking the Charlotte Hornets workout list. Obviously, they worked out Brandon Miller,
mm-hmm.
who went to Alabama. Scoot Henderson, G League Ignite. Thompson Brothers from Overtime Elite. Cam Whitmore from Villanova. That's okay. Yeah. Olivier Maxence Prosper from Marquette. Not a huge market there. And then you just go down the list. UCLA's got a fan base. Indiana does too. But then there's a lot of Xavier, South Carolina, Tennessee, Houston, Missouri, NC State, Kansas State, Eastern Michigan, Miami, Clemson, Furman. How many fans do you know of any of the teams I just said? And you know why these guys are here? In large part? Because they looked at an opportunity with a coach. Marquette. If Shaka Smart wasn't there, how many players do you think he'd have coming to the NBA draft?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. Steve Wojciechowski had and he was a Duke guy that we all knew. Should have been a pretty good recruiter. It's confounding to me that the NBA has gotten to this point where it's basically irrelevant outside of, a month?
Yep.
And even then, we're having to shoehorn it because we don't have anything else to talk about.
Right. This is the Sportsocracy. We will be back with you on Friday, as we said during the ESPN Asheville show. No show tomorrow because of Braves baseball. Back with you at 3 o'clock on Friday with all of the recap of the NBA draft.
And then we'll have a full week with no Tanker. Tanker coming. Got a new role starting the next week. Tank's going to basically spend his whole life on air starting July 5th.
Yeah.
Doing what, 5? Is it 5 to 9 or 6 to 9?
It's 6 to 9.
6 to 9. So he'll be on air 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon. That's a commitment. Let's give a hand for my
Thank you.
Let's give a hand for my Red Sox adorned friend here.
Thank you. Brand new chapter coming up after the week of vacation. It's going to be a lot of fun. But we will. I will be here with you Friday. I'll be here with you Monday as well, and then taking the rest of the week off.
Sorry, I forgot about the Monday.
After that, to get a little vacation time down at La Playa. It is the Sportsocracy, and we will be back with you 3 o'clock on Friday.